And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Alien Spaceship stream. You can be watching from anywhere around the country or the world, and I really appreciate every single one of you. Coming to you from the Spaceship Studios from a galaxy far, far away. Alright, so we are going to be switching over to the other screen so I could be seen. Okay, so let's go this way. Let's do this. Alright, hello everybody. It is I, Alien Spaceship. I hope everybody's been having a good day, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you all are. And we're going to be hanging out and talking about different things. Maybe some of the talk about the trial for next week. We'll probably maybe talk more about some of them, but we will certainly be doing the game and chatting about different topics. All right, so here we go. Let's go this way and switch over the window to the other screen. All right. So here is the game. All right. So we've got our pirate right here. I want to switch over some of this way. All right. Here we go. All right. Let's go. Okay, so yeah, this we have here. Oh, I'm going to switch a setting real quick. Hello there, Kim. It's great to see you. Welcome to the stream. Hello there, Zero and Kim. I'm glad to have both of you here. And Zero says, "Damn, you're reminding me of a game I want to play bad but can't yet." Oh, you'll you'll eventually come back to the game. Oh, yes. Glad to glad to know that you're glad to be here, Kim. Okay, so yesterday we did. It was a cool stream about the way the different legal things work. I like that. And what we did this time is, hey, I'm over here watching Sister Act, probably a favorite movie. Nice, nice. Okay. Oh, hello, Mermaid. Good evening to you. Yeah, and oh, hello, Eric. Welcome to the chat, Eric. Oh, tonight we are talking about whatever. It's uh, probably about different, what's going on, different movies and stuff. People like to watch. Just pretty much anything. It could go in any direction. This, it's a hangout. People can talk about different topics, and at this point, because yesterday during the week it was about some trial stuff, and we may talk. I don't know. I could talk about. Uh, I might even mention aliens. Scared. So yeah, and I'll play the game while we chat of different stuff. Okay. And Eric, how is? I hope that you're doing okay. I hope everything is well with you. And thanks for telling us hello. So, I'm gonna shout out to Bubbles in the background. I just noticed him. He's a good cat. All right. So, Hello, Kim, my sweet friend. Hope you're doing good. And let's see, anything else? Now, Mermaid, she said, Eric, whatever we make it to be in a silly way. Yeah, well said, Mermaid. Now, I want to know, chat, is anybody watching a movie recently? I am just curious. Because I usually, we could ask, like, what people's favorite movies are. And I'm curious about if anybody has, on their own spare time, watched any interesting movies lately. I recently, because of Halloween, I watched some of the. I watched how the what's it called? Friday the 13th, because of the Halloween season of last month, and I watched some of the Saw movies. It was, but of course, not everybody's into the horror genre. So if it's a comedy or whatever like that, I'd be interested to know. And cat sounds hungry. The cat, he could be. He usually he wants to. He probably wants me to tell him. He may want me to tell him hello or something like that. He has his food, but I'll certainly see what's going on. And what Christmas movies does everyone like? And that's a good question because we are in the Christmas season. So yeah, that's what I watched last month for the Halloween season, and now we are in Thanksgiving, Christmas season. And yes, and Eric's the one that mentioned the cat being hungry. Yeah. Okay, I know what I want to talk about, Alien. I want to talk about the trial yesterday because I had to skip last night because somebody was on last night. A couple of margaritas, not too good. Okay, we can talk about that too. And yeah, I like, and anytime I go live, Bubbles likes to have he likes to be seen. It's usually when I do lives. He likes to talk. So shout out to Bubbles in the camera. So yesterday you're referring to the beheading trial. Now, answering Miranda's question, I like Christmas movies. I like It's a Wonderful Life. That's a very old Christmas movie. That's a classic, and it shows the resilience of humans going through really messed up things and struggles of people coming together, which even in our modern times you could still see today. I I like another one that is like an animated one. When I was growing up, I like Polar Express. I like the. I thought the Santa Claus movies were pretty cool. The which are so I grew up watching. But yeah, I do agree that it is good for them to mix it up a little bit and not make like a copy of the same thing over and over. So yeah, I do think it's important for them to have of that, and those are just some of the Christmas ones that I like. But of course, there are many that I've seen. I think I've probably seen all of them, nearly all of them. Pretty much, those are some that come to mind. Yeah, and I'm going to get to Kim's question about the trial, absolutely. Kim says, I personally love the old Christmas movies like Christmas Story, The Best, The Grinch Stole Christmas, stuff like that. National Lampoon's Christmas. I've not heard of National Lampoon's Christmas. And that's funny about your cat. You're talking about the cat has unlimited dry food. He's a fat cat. Yeah, and Bubbles has his cat food over there. And as I said, he likes it's getting a shout out. That's most what it is. A moment ago, he was just sitting there, just watching the fireplace candles over there. He likes being seen. I like the Grinch Stole Christmas. That was a good one. I liked the Jim Carrey one, and I liked the old one from the animated version of it. Also, the original one. Those are some good choices. I've not seen National Lampoon's Christmas, or I think I've seen Christmas Story. Yeah, so yeah, those are some pretty cool ones. The trial, they were watching. Yes, yesterday, Davine Michaels was found guilty, and she could have taken the plea deal and had 15 years. But what happened instead, she did the trial, and her attorneys did what they could, but ultimately she was found guilty. And it was like nearly or exactly 2 hours. And we were waiting. They had the verdict, and then they're coming back with the verdict. And when this happened, the verdict was read as not. The verdict didn't come right away. Although they announced the verdict, they had to wait for everybody to come to the courtroom. And it took a little while for them to get everybody settled. Eric, oh, no, I make 2 of my cats share a cup a day, maybe 2 each. Eric, but TBH, I haven't go slow on their food because of the prices. Oh, alright. And, y'all, I love cats. I've had so many cats, though, in my life. My oldest cat was 21 years old when we had unfortunately put her down. Her name was Annabelle. She was the best. Well, Puma and Madison. Oh, shout out to your fur babies. They're in a better place now. They were... 21 years is a long time. That is cool that they... We had a cat that lived a long time like that a couple of years ago. So that's awesome fur babies. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Allie. I appreciate that. And of course, everyone knows I have a dog. A golden retriever named Boomer, but I do love cats. I just don't have one now. I love golden retrievers. They're very nice and welcoming. They are... More people should have those. And Mermaid said she has to. Okay, understood. And... Yeah, that... Kimberly, I was OMG. Ellie is... blocked me. Now I understand it. Thank you, Kimberly. Yeah, you thought the Allie person blocked you. Well, I have not blocked Kimberly. Yeah, I'm Allie. Maybe I'm Timu Alice. That could be one of my nicknames. Alright. Where's my sauce? Oh, yeah, shout out to Sauce. He hopefully will come by and pop in. And... Scared. Alright. So... In the... Oh, there is 666. And welcome. Alright, so he says, Alien, I did a 20-minute video earlier to give a layout of Brian Walsh's movements, where he lives, etc. Other stuff I mixed in, like the Hocus Pocus house location, etc. Oh, I certainly will look at that, 6. Thank you for doing that for me. I'll check it out. And good evening to you. Alright, and Eric says, my 2 cats go through a 3-pound bag in less than a week. It is expensive. Yeah, certainly prices have gone up and not gone down, and it is expensive. Yeah, that is true. Absolutely. And Kim says, cats can be so smart. I had a cat named Madison that would fetch those little milk rings off the milk jugs, and we called him his Milky's doll. Called him his Milky's. Hilarious, like that. Yeah, that is... yeah, one thing about cats is that getting them enchanting nicknames is always so fun. Because people come up with the cutest nicknames. We have a new kitten, and his name is Chim Chim, and I also call him Chim Chim Cupcake. Eric, absolutely. They definitely trick us, LO, into giving them multiple cups of food. Oh, cats are very manipulative. A cat standing on trial would certainly win their case. The thing with the cats is they are good at getting what they want, and they're good at getting all the cat food that they could possibly want out of us. Yeah, that's one of their specialities. Oh, you're talking about the Ukrainian that murdered his parents? Oh, okay. We'll talk about that one. Dima. We will certainly do that. All right. So, okay. So there was Dima, right? And he was adopted from Ukraine, and he murdered his parents, his step parents. So he was. There are a lot of people from Eastern Europe are put up for adoption in Russia too, and he was in an orphanage. Allegedly, he was causing trouble before he was adopted out, and he may have been in an orphanage. Yes, we'll see him on a Rainbow Bridge. Yes, amen. Now with the fur babies. Now with the Dima trial, the Ukrainian, he was very in a orphanage. He may have been abused in there. He may have had mistreatment, or it may have been a prison, as he described it. And he did not like the United States. Yeah, family dogs are very smart. Yes, yes. And with Dima in his trial, he was extremely very angry. He was like on the stand and he was not making eye contact. And people are curious about the story he wanted to tell about what happened to him in his life, but they didn't really give him a chance for that exactly. But yeah, he was. Okay, and so that is just some context about that trial. And Kim says, no, I'm talking about goddess when it says alien. I'm just using voice, and it's supposed to say alien. Oh, interesting. Your mom was adopted out of NYC from Polish immigrants. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, so you're referring to that trial that you're speaking of is the Devin Michaels trial that I was referring to. And so Goddess was in the chat, which is this other user, and she usually says the people are innocent, and there is some debate going on with her and the others with her being innocent with the right, and she was giving her defense about why Devine was innocent. Then people were challenging her, and then she would get angry at everybody, allegedly, and there would be these fights. Yesterday, Sauce was talking to her about the trial, and it was something funny, and kind of like a spectacle, and they seemed to be chatting back and forth, and that was quite intriguing. So yeah, that is Shaza and some others respect her for like kind of like defending the underdog, and she really thinks that they're innocent or guilty, or whatever it is. They are entitled to their opinion, and that's it. That's cool. Now, I do think that emotions are high, and sometimes people their emotions can get the better of them, and this can cause a problem with the other situations in chat. Like, yeah, emotions get high, but it doesn't mean you have to take it personally. That's what I mean. When it happens. I guess everybody, to an extent, It could happen to anybody, you know. So I'm just saying the best possible outcome would be to not take it personally the way they do. Right, and I know we come up with so many names for pets. It's hilarious. I have like 5 for my dog. Yeah, yeah. I so that situation with a goddess at those trials, and I never had a problem with her, but I've noticed other people have gotten into debates with her, and they've been heated. All right. Eventually, with Davine Michaels, they got into it was a double verdict on Friday. Both were found guilty, and yes, so Dimma was on the stand and twice, and he was not really respectful about his parents that he murdered. He didn't really seem remorseful, and he was very angry. So yeah, people are it's that maybe like he in his life he went through things that caused maybe some disorder he had or some sort of psychopathic inclination to be expressed, or maybe he already was like that to begin with. But whatever the environment that he had and whatever was wrong with him just blew up. So that is the Dimma trial. He was found guilty, and Davine Michaels, who was the wife of former ex-wife of Robert Baker, was brought to justice as well. She was taught by Baker well, and I don't mean that as like a positive way, but she taught him about deleting people most likely. All right, so that is a double verdict. All right, Kim says, "Oh, Alien, our dogs. Oh, my neighbor told me today that she has a picture of my dog going to her house and eating a pan, and she had put out with a roast, and she was going to hose it out." Oh, hilarious. All right, Kim. One cat has been outside in the rain for hours now. I hope he's all right. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes Bubbles, Pootsy Bubbles' brother, likes to. He likes to stay outside. It's an outside cat, and sometimes he sits in the rain. And Mary Toodles, my, will go and get triggered about the cat sitting in the rain. And sometimes cats just go inside where it's dry. Other cats want to sit out there and just hang out in the rain, or for whatever reason. Hope he's okay too. Mermaid said, "Hello, 666. Sorry, eyes glued to the end of the movie." Right. Uh, okay, thanks for clarifying about that. And Kim said he had something to say and it's driving me crazy. I thought about writing him a letter. I want to hear what he has to say. It would be interesting to know what he has to say. I agree, because we could. Although some people are just going to do something bad anyway. Whatever he went through certainly didn't help the situation. Even if he was going to just be psychopathic regardless, it still was going to... It didn't help. Now, he didn't... He was not nice to the judge, and he seemed very frustrated and angry, and he reason why he did what he did was out of rage, and I wasn't at the home. I don't know what it was like because sometimes, like, you could have people, like for instance, it doesn't make anything right, and I will say that he certainly needs to be locked up and throw away the key. Threw away the key, and that wasn't really nice to, for him to, of course, do that. But, like, and really, that's an understatement, because it's like, murdering people, he could go out and murder someone again. So, if he can get any kind of help or see what's wrong with him, I wish him that for his own good, to straighten himself out. Okay, Kim says, Christine cut on last night. God has blocked me, and alien of y'all know that I'm a very nice person, so there was no reason for it. Maybe different opinion. Hardly care. I don't know anything about that. With a goddess. Okay, so goddess blocked you. Yeah, as I said, with goddess, she must have gotten heated, and it happened to me before, not with her, but with others in my time, is that sometimes people have a different opinion, a different opine, and they take it personally and get more and more angry. So, yeah, and Christine understands the situation too. Okay, yeah, she just gets fired up. Goddess does, and I'm friends with her. I mean, like, I'm not having a problem with her, but yeah, I've seen it in chats. Yeah, she gets kind of angry with the different opinions, and it's I wish people wouldn't take things so personally, and people can just have a respectful debate about it, and especially people who don't even know, and it's not even really important at the end of the day. So I do think that hopefully it can be resolved at some point, but thanks for bringing that up to my attention. We'll see about handling it. Goddess is big time blocker if you have a different opinion, and one day, the day I met her, like the chat, she said nobody would talk to me today on this chat, so I spent my time to talk to her blocked. Well, that was not nice of her to say, and you're a very sweet person. Always, I remember when I first met you in the chat, and you may have been there for a long time, but recently I just got to know you of a couple of weeks ago or last month or something like that. Just the time warp to me is confusing because to pinpoint exact time, but yeah, very kind to me, very cool to me, and the other people, and you do well with our chat group. So, she could attack your argument, but not you personally. So I think that would be good to do. And it's quite essential to have everything set in order. Hello, Christine. Good to see you. And you see, the reason why she blocked you, why she may have blocked you, Kim? She possibly could have didn't think that she could win against you. Like, for instance, if you're trying to explain to her why did she block, or act the way she acted. Christine, so great to see you. And sometimes when people can't win, they just resort to blocking. And because you weren't harassing her, you weren't bullying her or anything, so it wasn't that reason. It seems like her trying to explain like why she blocked you was for no logical reason, because she was just upset. So the reason why she blocks you because she couldn't win the argument about why she is being defensive against you for having a different opinion. All right, so you didn't do anything wrong, Kim, from what you're telling me. And yeah, she needs to not take it so personally. You know, because in the trial chat, we are there to have, it's like a spelling bee, which that's kind of like a different thing, but it's like we're there to debate and find the truth and have different opines with each other. That's, you know, what the culture of the chat is. So, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I will, you know, hopefully she could just chill. All right, Kim said, "Hey girl, I was just talking about you, Christine." I was saying how you caught on to what I was talking about last night with Goddess, LO, and two Margs, and I knew better. Oh, I'm glad that Christine was also noticing the crisis that's going on. And Eric, I guess that's a good thing because there are people that are good to block, especially trolls and people that are doing cyberbullying and just being annoying. Uh, and and in this circumstance, we're a group of people that are trying to talk about trials, and we're debating sometimes about if someone's guilty or innocent, and somebody's taking it too personally and blocking people for no reason. It's kind of ridiculous. All right, and that's the ship that we captured. Mercy, I'm using voice text. I said cut. It should have been caught on, not cut. LO, bear with me. I can speak faster than I can type. Oh, every time I use voice text, it barely comes out the way I say it. Yeah, me too. Me too. I remember, like, I'll be talking to Mermaid and some other, sometimes in chat rooms, and I'll put the voice thing in, and it just didn't get right what I meant to say, and I have to go and manually, like, edit it and then send it. You could even whisper and it comes out wrong. Scared. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Here, that'll take it down. I'm very tolerant of people, and I don't agree with. Yes, yes, you are. That's true. You're always cool with the different people in chat. I've seen you, Eric, and I'm glad that you're like that because a lot of people don't understand basic things. And Six said Brandon Block Goddess. I remember Logie was talking about the cooking. To she cooks her own food, and she said she doesn't cook her own food. The goddess doesn't cook food. They take this block goddess, right? Well, really, that shocking. He blocked her. I was nothing but kind to her, and then she blocked me. What the hell? Yeah, yeah, definitely. Christine says, "Does anyone think Dima should have gotten off and say what he wanted to say? He mentioned Oscar and Phil and how were the kids, and Oscar was a step parent. I think he was talking about other people's fam. Yeah, he was referring to the step family he had. He may have been referring to other people too. And although I do think he should have, murdering the parents like the way he did, in the way angry he is, I do feel he should be locked up, and he could show signs of being, having some sort of psychopathic ness to him. But I will say that it would be interesting to know what his story is, and but his attorney really, from a legal perspective, his attorney really sucked. He didn't really do that much for him. Not that I'm complaining about that because he could hurt someone else, and he was wrong what he did. All I'm saying is that, yeah, he could have said like with Darrell Brooks even talked about his side of the story, although he was defending himself, and he just was like a goof. And even Atellus, for instance, he talked about his side of the story too. These clowns. So I think even the villains, I would like to see what they have to say, and you could even refute them, and he could have made himself look even more wicked. There could have been holes to poke into his argument to see him as more guilty, but still, I think everybody has a story to tell, and it certainly would be interesting to know what he went through in his life. Definitely. Right, exactly, six. All right. And Kim says, Alien, I think he just had rage from everything in his life. And I think he took it out on the two people he probably loved the most. Reason he cried. It showed me remorse. Very different in Ukraine. Yeah, and that's very likely that may have been the case. And that he just had a lot of anger and rage in him. And it just came out the wrong way. And he took it out on the wrong people. And then this other occurrence where he showed crying on the stand. Now, one thing that I am just uncertain about is I wondered if it was an act to try to look like he was empathetic when he may have not have been that empathetic, and he was having problems before he was adopted out, when he was over in Eastern Europe. But look, when he was over there and the things went through in his life may have caused him to be like that. But there are people that can go through that and not necessarily act out in such a way. And there is a possibility, hypothetically, I'm not a psychologist or anything, that these people express, when they're growing up, some psychopathic people, no matter what, they can, at a young age, they can express these violent behaviors. As they get older, they don't have the way to regulate what's going on, and they can lash out like that. But at the same time, I believe two things to be true at the same time. I think it's possible that the environment nurtured whatever was wrong with him to begin with, and then it drove him to that point. But I still would like to hear his story, and it is possible that he may not have been like that, like what I'm mentioning, and that he just was a normal person that just decided to go murder his family because he was upset about things in his life. Now, when someone else may not have done that in the same situation. So I do think everybody is different and has different types of tolerance to things. But yes, I do think that whatever he went through in his life should be known, and it certainly didn't help. But if anything, it's possible that it caused him to do that. But regardless of what is or what isn't, I do think he should be, at least for now, locked up so he doesn't hurt anybody else. But yeah, I think that although he just may have had something wrong with him to begin with since he was born, still his environment didn't help. His background, guess, does not matter, but what he went through could really screwed him up. No excuse. Yes, it's no excuse, but it could have really screwed him up. Yeah, definitely, absolutely. I think that is very true. Like, say if an animal that was abused and it became violent over time, and like anybody could be driven to insanity. I mean, you could say anybody. Like, say somebody that was in a Vietnam War, right? And they were a normal person, and maybe they had a predisposition to be a certain way that they didn't know about, and they were put in a spot, Vietnam or any kind of war, right? And then they get PTSD, and then they may express. I'm just making up a character that may express violent behavior that was unrecognizable. So yeah, I believe trauma can make someone into a monster that wasn't a monster originally. Yeah, and Ukraine is in war, and there was an apocalyptic society with Russia. There's lots of war going on, and the orphanage is like a prison. So absolutely, it didn't help. I mean, and we weren't there at home with his family, so we don't know what it was like for him there. But it's no excuse, and he could have had a predisposition, if it's whatever it is, to do what he did, where someone else in the same situation may have not have done it like that. So, yeah, I think it's there could be two things true at the same time. And honestly, it's been about 4 months and got hooked, line sinker. I mean, it was first for me. Keep them being on chat, and I loved it. Oh, I'm glad that you liked it. Okay, and yeah, I believe he shouldn't got of help. And hey, his parents could have certainly got him help, and especially if he was showing signs of, somebody that was in Ukraine and somebody that was in the situation and whatever was going on. But then again, we don't know what his home life was like, and not saying his story could raise reasonable doubt in some people's eyes about, although we could agree what he did was wrong and he was pushed too far, and he should be locked up for some time, or given help. Still, we don't know what we don't know, and yeah, he should have been given help and given counseling from the beginning, and should have been shown all the love, kindness, compassion he could have been shown. Not that they didn't show him that, but that is a circumstance certainly to consider. And yeah, there are just some people, not even talking about the defendant, but there are some people that are just born evil that would just do something anyway, and if they were in a bad situation or not, so we don't really know what he would have been like if he was not whatever he went through. And so yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you, Kim. Facts. And you are so very cool people. I am glad that we cross paths. Okay, and let's see. No, but I have honest, like, I've seen her really get people, like, she can quite brutal, and I would just step and even get involved, so that's what I'm saying, shocked. And, okay, Alien, I met, okay. They tried to get help. Impact statements. Family members said he probably refused to go. Ah, okay. You see, you can't help somebody that doesn't want to help themselves, especially if they're an adult. And, for instance, the severe discretion advised. It's going to be a graphic thing I'm going to say. The psychopathic people or serial killers are known when they're young, they're kids, to hurt animals, and just some people that are born evil. And or some people that may have a predisposition, if they're under the right circumstances, to just go crazy. And that is something, if he didn't want to get help, then he wanted to be the way he was. Even if he was wronged and was put into the realms of the insane, he wanted to stay in the realms of the insane, and he liked it. Why would someone like that? And he certainly had a revengefulness about him and rage, and he was angry. So as I said, I just want to throw out there some people that could just be born evil, and no matter what, they're going to be the way they are. And on top of that, any kind of things he went through during his time in Ukraine or the orphanage could have caused him, like, he may have not have had a way to. I think a lot of these situations stem from this. The silver lining is this, is that people that are growing up, that are going through things, everybody could go through something. People could go through the orphanages of Ukraine and abuse at home, whatever. And if they don't either have it on them mentally, or if they were not taught emotional regulation, if he doesn't have that in him, the emotional regulation, and not how to cope with what he's going through, then all that rage is going to just explode out of nowhere. If he lacked empathy or remorse for his behavior, I don't know if he did. He did cry on the stand. People could debate if he was genuine or not. But whatever type of behavior he was expressing, he certainly was not feeling the, for his parents. He didn't on the stand seem, he didn't make eye contact. He seemed just very messed up, very, obviously for what was going on. And I will say his lawyer didn't really do that great that they could have done, and he certainly should have wanted to get help, but something could have been not right with him to begin with for him not to want to get help in the first place. And they tried, he beat up people smaller than him. One of the family members said he was a bully. There's Sauce. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, and that's what bullies do. You see, that to me doesn't sound like somebody that is not a good situation where somebody is, as I told you, psychopathic people. I'm not calling him a psychopathic person, but I'm not a psychologist or doctor. But yeah, people that want to bully others like he did is a sign of that, because he lacks empathy. He wants to have power and control. He feels entitled. He has those traits. Now, it's possible that he was just too far gone to begin with, that whatever damage was done, and he was just over with. And people bully others like that to feel better about themselves and feel up about themselves. So if he was already expressing signs, even when before he was orphaned in Ukraine, before he was adopted out, he was showing bad signs. So before all that, yeah, he certainly was not showing good behavior in my eyes either. So yeah, that's a red flag, I think. That's a red flag. Now, he did lose his parents. He didn't have the guidance, and Ukraine's in a horrible war-torn zone, and the USSR was bad too. And the USSR, people in those countries were impoverished and messed up, and then, yeah, the USSR collapsed, and of course, regardless, people think which side is right. The war in Ukraine doesn't really help the people there because they're in a war zone, and as I said, I don't know if he had the opportunity to cope or be taught like in a preschool with Sesame Street on Sesame Street about how to deal with things. I don't think he had that, So I think there's possibility truth to both, where he may have had something wrong with him to begin with, and his life situations made it worse. But even if he didn't go through these things, he may have done it anyway. So, yeah, it's a sad situation. I would like to know one day what his story is, just for the sake of argument. Like, we know what Darrell Brooks' story is. We know about Tellis' story. We know Amber Heard's story. Everybody, I like to know what they have to say. Yeah. Okay, and yeah, about Goddess, yeah. Okay, and I was not, they got me right there, and we're just gonna go out and get the loot. Okay, Goddess, I'm getting ready to slam my phone down because of voice text, sorry. Hey, Goddess is moody for day to day. It's like you're dealing with a different person, sorry, but that's just what I've seen. And he seems like a know-it-all, hate to know-it-alls. Yeah, it's definitely seemed like a know-it-all. I agree with that. Now, Oh, hello, Regina. Good evening. I do think. Well, your girlfriend, Goddess Sauce, has been very naughty lately. You keep her in check. Uh, she's blocking Kim and getting fights with the chat when someone disagrees with her. And yeah, the one thing I think with the Ukrainian lad is that didn't he didn't respect the judge, and he said he was remorseful, but he didn't really seem to. Uh, his attorney didn't guide him to say the right things that could have been said. And yeah, I think his attorney certainly should have been, you know, it needs to go back to school, unless the attorney did it on purpose. But yeah, he could have what he should. What this is what the lad should have done. He should have gotten the stand, and he should have said that he was wrong for what he did to his parents, and it was evil and heartless. And then he could have talked about there's no excuse, and he could have made eye contact, and be encouraged to make eye contact, and he could have talked about, respected the judge, respected the families, and apologized about, to the families. And then he could have just said that these things that he went through, although it's all his responsibility, he was the one in the wrong. Got he let it get the best of him, and he eventually, bottled it up and lashed out that way. And he does have a story to tell if he would, and he would like to tell his story if they would allow him to do so at some point. And thanking the judge and everybody for listening to what he had to say and answering whatever questions that is there. So that would be a better thing he could have done, and not say anything bad to the judge. That's my opinion. I'm not a professional. But he didn't really, and his attorney seemed to be kind of silly. So that is, especially asking him, like, he's obviously from another country as an accent, that's like irrelevant. But so, yeah, but way he did it, he seemed defensive, and he more of a turnoff, like, to the jury, and turn off for a possibility of him saying his story. As I said, Darrell Brooks said it, Tella said it, everybody said their story. So that is a way he could have done it better. Then they could have let him say his story, maybe, and then we could have known what happened. But yeah, he just basically, people that are real arrogant, he may have become arrogant, and he felt entitled. And as I said, the bullying is an entitlement. And he doesn't want to be humble to say the things he could have said to save his own self. So that is something I could have done differently. And I do think these orphanages need to be more direct about what kind of people are coming into the country for the safety of everybody. And I think that them withholding information about any kind of insanity he had or bad behavior he had is wrong for them to withhold from the folks that want to adopt. All right, Kim says, Christine, yes, Aquarius people were kind, are loyal, and just good friends. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can get a temper. That's why I don't get too much into chat last night. And Christine, it takes a pull of a temper out. I just did better last night. I just had a bad feeling that was. And Regina says, I think he had some mental issues, adopted kid trial. I agree. I think he certainly had mental issues. Yes. And it wasn't addressed. And that not being addressed caused him to go down the path that he went down. So, I think a combination of things are true. Thank you, Regina, for your take. And as I said, some people are just born evil. So, and you all could decide what you all think. Thank you. All right, so I tried so hard to be kind. I don't know why she blocked, because I was very careful with her. Already knew No, she was. And she was confrontational, so I was very careful. But if I talk to someone else, and Kim says, with different opinion, I guess I'm pissed her off, and she blocked me. I found out during the Giulio Fulio trial, I didn't even know. That's just crazy. It's kind of annoying. And I didn't want to share space. And Regina says, he'll never get the help he needs. I know, and I don't think that the whatever is wrong with him, it's only going to make him worse, probably. And there's a point where, yeah, and we won't really know his story either unless somebody finds out at some point. I'd like to know what it was, and we don't know. We don't know. So a lot of the things in the prisons need to be improved. Definitely. Even if they're psychopathic, I think there are ways they can be counseled to show them what they did was wrong. For their own good. And they don't hurt anyone else. You'll talk to her during pillow talk later. Thank you. Sauce, we can count on you. Thank you. With her last night, a couple of margaritas, and I wasn't in the mood. I just knew better. So, Kim, I assume it was a disagreement over the Devon trial, or the Devine Michaels trial. Now I'm jello. Yeah, the Giulio Fulio trial was where they had a lot of fights. Yeah, so she must have said her opinion, and she must have gotten angry if someone had a different opinion, and she must have took it personally. And by taking it personally, she then did what she did. To block. Yeah, I just think that was... she was overreacting. So are you pushing my buttons? Whereas people can get jealous as they that way. Hilarious. All right, and it is rating on the Caribbean. All right. Scared. Yeah, so let's see. I had an ex BF Scorpio. They are obsessed. It's good, but not good. Oh, thank you, Kim. I'm glad that you enjoyed the chat. We love you very much. I remember when I saw you at the trial chat, I'm like, she's got to come to the spaceship. And here you are. Here we go. So thanks for telling me about what's going on with Goddess. I believe I'll be aware of the situation, because we want to have a united chat room. A house divided against itself will not stand. But not that we need a Goddess necessarily, in the sense that I just think the chat as a whole could stay together. So yeah, it's okay. As I said, Kim, y'all did nothing wrong to Goddess. I believe she overreacted. Like we're talking about Dima here, and Nobody's taking anything personally, and we're all just discussing because we all want to figure out what the truth is, whatever that is. And I and with Devine Michaels, she was, I'd say, quite guilty, but Goddess thinks otherwise, and she was getting fired up. Ah. You've got me, the godmother. Yes. Yes. We have Regina, indeed. The godmother. Yeah. And because this other person in a different chat room is getting angry with the chat for disagreeing with her. And a lot of people are just trying to, get the situation resolved. And that's what we're trying to do. Yeah. Christine OMG had two Scorpios and it was not good. I didn't know Aquarius and Scorpios are not good together. Scorpios were monsters. Not saying all, but saying the two I was with. Yeah, we always got to have the godmother. I'm glad that we have her on board. It's very cool people. Very, very nice. That's probably going to be a lost line. We'll try to fix it. Alright, Christine said, Leo and Scorpio are good. It's like a roller coaster. They are jealous and somewhat controlling, very possessive. Okay, well, I'm glad to know that. Thank you. Yeah, so we gotta watch out for him. Scared. I meant they go together match, but oh, okay, okay. Thank you for clarifying, Christine. Christine, you are right on the money. Okay. Okay, and we are going to see about this fish coming up. And I mean, yeah, now I remember when Goddess was telling me one time she was going to be looking into the Michaels trial. I said, okay, that's good. It seems like she came up with not guilty. And this Timu fish is angry. Alright. Okay, and we're almost there. We're almost at the surface. So it goes. Yeah. Yeah, so it said the V. Michaels extremely guilty what she did. The lad, the Ukrainian lad, could have been born evil. Maybe he was. But certainly his life circumstances didn't help him. And we don't know what his story is that we would like to know one day. And it's good that he won't be out hurting other people or bullying other people. So that is interesting debate, the Dima trial. Interesting. Oh, he's a Capricorn. Okay. Your worst girlfriend was a Leo. Okay. Now, going up this. Honestly, I think he drank too much. He sat there and got more angry, and he took it out on those two, unfortunately. Like he said, he was temporary, saying, unfortunately, alcohol, no excuse. Right. And If he was drinking, that certainly wouldn't have helped the situation. And whatever he had wrong with him mentally before that, because he was already showing signs of not being that great of a person, and the abuse he had would have enhanced it, would have made it even more worse. So it is best. Yeah, it is absolutely best that he should have been giving help, and it's good that he won't be out, hurting other people anytime soon, because he'll be locked up. Yeah, alcohol over, like people in his situation shouldn't drink alcohol. It would make it worse. Now, yeah, it's like adding gasoline to a fire. And alcohol is known to be gasoline inducing because it can be flammable. Oh, and Christine said no, cannot be. I am not controlling or jealous or cheap. Oh, I get stuck with monsters. All right, all right. Absolutely. Okay. Christine, you are an angel. All right. You are very sweet and kind to us all. So, the most angelic one of all of them. Scared. So, you cannot be jealous or controlling, and you are an angel, and sometimes you will do what needs to be done. So, um, yeah, the most angelic one of them all. Scared. I say that with a wink, wink. Yeah. So, and when I say that, Christine, about no, it cannot be. I am not controlling or jealous. Oh, cheap. I get stuck with the monsters. Yeah, it's a little wink, wink for you. And that was for Saw, so he had a weird one. Yeah. My goddess is Pit. Oh, scared. Yeah, Christine is the least jealous or cheap uh, angel on the spaceship. Scared. And girl, I've been through it. You've got to keep track of those red flags and know when to call it. Lie to them. Yeah, absolutely. We got to be aware of them, and there are people out there that do have red flags, and we have to be careful about those things. With another now, us on the spaceship, we have no red flags. We are all very cool on the spaceship. We don't have any problems with anybody. But other people are the red flags, not us. So that's what we have to look out for. All right, and oh, AI Atlas. Okay, Eric, what do you think of AI Atlas? I mean, 3i Atlas. With 3i Atlas, I think it's possible that it might be some sort of extraterrestrial machine or a ship of some kind from a long time ago, maybe. I've I've been very interested in it. There's allegedly it was secreting like alien material, some sort of alien type material. And with the alien material, like for instance, alien metallic uh, stuff it was giving off, it also gives off a radio signal. There's allegedly some explosion that happened. It seemed like there's like a galactic war going on up there. So, yeah, I think the three eye atlas is interesting. It has a curved trajectory. It'll be in our planet closer around December, and I do believe like things that like Moki and I have talked about is that aliens could be on it, or just an asteroid, a meteor, or an asteroid that's floating around. So I'm glad that you're also interested in Three Eye Atlas, Eric. If you want to share anything you learned about it, I'm interested to know, or your thoughts on it. Nickel, very little iron, and very little strange elements. Yeah, I agree. And I feel like he knew something about the family and he wanted to say it, but he wasn't allowed to say it, and I think that's what pissed him off. That's our court system, and it can be frustrating. Okay, I we could all agree that he should at least say what was going on, because even, and if anyone disagrees with me, I'm interested to know a refutation. But yeah, he should be able to say his side of the story, because we were not there in the family with them, and he may, if he, like, what is there to hide? And if anything, I'll tell you all, if he talks about the family, he talks about the family, and he could make himself look even worse, and holes can be poked into his narrative for those that like believe that, like I think that he could have always had something wrong with him. But yeah, that certainly would be interesting to know about the family that he knows or what he's not allowed to say. Okay, and so thank you, Kim, for your take. I would be interesting to know, like, more about his story with his take on the family. I don't know why he wasn't able to do it. All right, so all right. Freaking heat. Scared. Funny. Okay, and you're gonna catch some fish. I'm scared. There's theories that the Three Eye Atlas was producing this hello. They found this signal in deep space that said hello, or no, it said wow, and it's theorized that that one did it. All right, this one is gonna be, it's like a barracuda. Let's see. And Kim said, "We just don't know how things worked in Ukraine. Like, he talked about the education system being horrible. We just don't know what it was like there. I always try to keep an open mind. Yeah, Kim, I'm glad that you're keeping an open mind about it. And we really don't know. And maybe we'll find out one day what really transpired with him. It's certainly a mystery. There's more questions than answers. Thank you. Kim says we don't know if he was sexually molested, if he was physically abused. Maybe he should have been put in therapy. The state just blocked all that history. It was bothersome to me. Yeah, Eric, I agree. We are not alone. I agree. Facts. All right, we don't know if he was. Yeah, we do not know. That's true. And I think actually something an attorney can argue. I'm not an attorney. I don't know anything about anything, but something that his defense could have argued if they didn't allow him to bring it up. All the prosecution isn't supposed to withhold anything in a case, and I think that not bringing up everything could raise a reasonable doubt of the way it was handled. I'm not denying about he could have been psychopathic from the beginning. I'm not denying that he had something wrong with him to begin with, or that he was an evil person just by nature. I'm not denying that there's something wrong with him. All I'm saying is that if he was in those situations, he certainly wasn't given the proper counseling to cope with whatever he went through, and we don't know exactly what happened. Right, exactly. And he should have been given therapy, and he wasn't. It's like a tree. And there's vines in the tree, and it takes the tree over. There's a point where it's too late, but yeah, that he certainly should have been given the therapy about whatever he experienced, and at least know what happened. But he certainly, I feel, was bullying others, and he was being. He probably would delete somebody again, and he's just not ready to go into society, or probably never, of course, because he was found guilty for life. But yeah, I wonder why they blocked it from being talked about. But anyway, one day maybe we'll find out. Thank you, Kim. Seems like you need your date. Do you go on dating? I don't do that, but. Christine, there's a lot of weirdos on those apps, so you are right. He does need to do background checks. Yeah. Hey, Sauce, good to see you. I told you hi earlier. Yeah, and Sauce, that's what I'm saying. That people that didn't that go through what he went through, if he was molested or not, whatever occurred, do not do the things that he did, because he had something else maybe within him already that would predispose him to do that. And if he never was messed with, maybe he would have been bad anyway. Very good point as well. That's what also that I've been saying. At the same time, since there's something predisposed about him, he should have been given some sort of serious therapy and evaluations before he was adopted, or after he was adopted, to compensate for whatever weakness he had. And there was also wars in Ukraine and other things that he experienced, and he just didn't have a way of coping with it, and he went with his feelings and emotions over a logical reasoning, because he just goes with the emotional impulse. Impulsive. He goes with the lack of self-control. So yeah, there was already something that could have been lurking with him to begin with. Thank you, Sauce. As well said. Yes. And like, for instance, the saying goes, we have to walk a mile in each other's shoes to really see what the other person was feeling mentally. And maybe, as I said, he completely was just messed up, or maybe there's more to it than we don't know. Me too, Kim. Let's call the court, or go to prison. We can visit him and ask him, LMAO. That's right, Christine. I'm serious. I thought about writing a letter and saying, what did you want to say? Yeah, as I said, I feel, in my opinion, he has a right to say whatever he wants to say. Like, we got to see Brooks and Tellus talk. You know, even with Charles Manson, Bundy, Dahmer, everybody got to say what they want to say. Yeah. Six says those apps also you have no idea who you are talking to. Some immature kids could pretend to be a woman or a guy, etc. You have no idea. It could be Captain Howdy situation and D strangled. I prefer personally with me. I prefer to meet people in person. That's what I would prefer to do. And look, I don't mind meeting y'all one day at a meetup somewhere. I love to meet you all in person. I know who you all are, or at least I believe I'm 99% certain. Scared. And y'all obviously are 99.99% certain that it's me because you see me on the screen right now. I'm an alien flesh and blood. So I do think that it is a possibility with that. It is, you don't know who you're talking to. Kim said, I hunted you down like a stalker, Alienolo. Scared. Yeah, and that is a fine eye. Is just the alien spaceship just seems to have this hypnotic effect on the Earthlings. Instead of me abducting the Earthlings want to go find that alien and abduct the alien. And yeah, it's just a lot of people are like that, and with Alien Spaceship. And as I said, I appreciate the admiration. I admire you all too. Okay, and thank you, Kim. Meeting a person was Gen X way, and others before our time. That's how they met. Yeah, you met your husband from a Craigslist ad. Okay, Regina, interesting. And God, or whatever people believe, can use those things like the internet. That's possible too. And meeting in person is something else that I would prefer. But if I meet someone online, that's fine too if it was done properly. But the Craigslist ad's even more quite funny. That's quite a funny. It's a Craigslist ad. I'm that would be to me an unexpected surprise. Indeed, scared, scared. But in all seriousness, that could be used hypothetically. The internet, it could be used. It's possible. I think the best way would be meeting in person, but maybe not. Maybe people can meet online. But yeah, there are dangers to meeting online too. Yeah, so scared. Christine said you can do a background checks on someone and talk to them for months if they wait and you see them and then they have a knife or throat and pew pew gun. There's been a lot of stories online where YouTubers react to different stories of things like people that have experienced these type of stories of being like on Craigslist or being on Craigslist seems like the darkest place to be. That's like one of the worst places I've heard of. But with the internet, with the dating, people can like have met somebody that is older than they thought or was a different gender. And yeah, there are young people that could be somebody you think is not who you think it is. There are also people who are just mate some psycho crazy person. Like one time, this dude met somebody online and they slept over at their house, and the person was staring at them while they were sleeping. And when they did that, they started to attack him. They had to call the police. And shout out to Godmother. She's the best. The best Godmother. Godmother of the Spaceship. Facts. So, Craigslist killer killed a girl in Boston, then end his life in jail. Scared. Hey, Six, that's cool. I was talking about arcades the other day. That's cool, by the way. His ex-wife in '89 and arcade. Yeah, yeah, those arcades are so cool. Although they still have them, but that was like when they were like the new thing. Like that was the iPad and the computer and the smartphone of its time. The arcade. Sauce bar meets do actually work most of the time, but you need to investigate if they are married. And okay, you said something, Eric, and I missed it. My bad. All right, so Eric said my sister's best friend's son was essayed at 4 years old to death on the same trail I used to walk on to school, and his name was Eric. She may have named me after him. Oh, he's in a. I believe he's in a better place. And rest in peace. Condolences for the loss. And your name's awesome, and you carry his legacy. You are the best. Thank you. His defense was that Eric was picked on, bullied in school. He is out now. Now, Eric's the person that was abused, right? He was the one that was murdered. I think that's what you meant. Now, his defense was that Eric was picked on, bullied in school, and he's out now. And Eric, I think people that do that stuff should never be released. Okay, people that do stuff to children or rape people need to never get out, or they need to live in some leper colony somewhere. Like I think that they're quite evil villains. Okay, and also Sauce says, "I love the water sounds in the background with the fish." Oh, I'm glad you like the water sounds of the fish. Oh, Eric was the killer. Okay, Eric, I thought that the other person was the one that was murdered. Okay, so I redact my statement about you continuing his legacy. You be named after Eric in a positive way because the Eric was being a killer. So I redact that part. Oh, I like your name, but I understand now the situation. All right, so thank you. So with yeah, but I think that the other Eric should not be released ever. So it's unfortunate that he was out. And yeah, being bullied and all is not an excuse. Like I was saying before, people can go through things and never have to hurt anybody. That's why I think that they have a predisposition if they're bullied or something. Like for instance, the Columbine shooters and the school shooters were bullied, right? But they had something wrong with them that was triggered in them to go do something like that. Because somebody could take that anger, frustration, and do something positive with it. Like Dima could have done something positive. He could have gone and worked out. He could have made a YouTube channel. He could have done all kinds of things that would have been good for him in society. But yeah, there's a right, there's a excuse and a scapegoat. So thank you for clarifying, and I uh, think that the person should not be released. So it's unfortunate he was released. Yeah, I just think it's excuses. Eric says Derek was the victim's local ballpark named after him. There is a statue. Well, I'm glad. So rest in peace to Derek. He's in a better place, and I'm glad that they made a tribute to him. Right. And his dad was an alcoholic, so maybe he had a hereditary thing. And I think instead of him saying that he was drunk, I think he was blacked out drunk, and he said insanity, and he was confused. And Kim, you have a very good defense, by the way, and I appreciate your very good defense. And his dad was an alcoholic. Yeah, and there are people that have a hereditary predisposition to that. And if he was drinking alcohol and he blacked out, that certainly he would have maybe done something he usually may have not done when he is sober. Now, I will say that he should have been aware of his alcoholism. Now, in Eastern Europe, they drink it like it's water, okay? The vodka. So I think that he should have been aware to not overdrink. And hey, we do not know for certain if he was aware that he had a problem with alcohol to that extent, though. So, yeah, that is something that could have been brought up if that was a factor, on top of everything else. So, thank you, Kim, for your take on it. Yeah. As I said, adding gasoline to the fire. And no excuse, of course. No excuse at all. And he shouldn't have done that. But yeah, that he should have not been drinking. Same, although Christine, same thing. Girl was found following me in the store and getting in my way, and I had no idea who was wanting. I was trying to grab veggies, and she wanted to let me know I smelled nice. So, oh, interesting. Kim said, "You are a functioning alcoholic and vaporaholic." Nice, nice, Eric. I I don't drink anymore. I focus on other like I do other things now. I didn't have a problem with alcohol, but I was I very rarely I'll drink something sometimes. Not recently though. And yeah, I was responsible about it, and I didn't let it get to me in a bad way. But yes, and Eric, you are responsible. And as I said, I see you in the chats, and from what I interacting with you, you're always cool people. Yeah, but some people just don't have that self control. You know, they let their emotions control them. My son was followed after leaving the grocery store. He lost her. Scared. Sauce, my dear Sauce. No polo is done with LO. I did polo in '90s, and they've got good smelling stuff now. Nice, nice. Polo in high school. Okay. When I was in high school, the thing that kids like to wear was Axe, and y'all probably be cringe over that. Yeah, Axe was like the big thing in my time. But Polo is even better. Oh, okay. Okay, Godmother. Okay, understood. Okay, and scared. And Christine over Cologne. Okay, didn't want her to try it and keep her behind. Oh, he was just being followed. Yeah, that is a scary situation, indeed. scared. Okay, and okay, let's bring this up. We could fix this. Ah, darn it. So I'm just gonna see if it works, and then we'll reel it in. We're close to the shore. I have to just repair the line. Or have to go a little bit more. So she find a new cologne. Unfortunately, they don't give you those little samples to try it anymore because something smells good on somebody else may not smell good on you. Samples need to be back. Let's see. No, that's right. There was weird. She never said a word to him. Just follow. Oh yeah, that is certainly creepy. That was for Sauce. Voice sucks. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, the voice thing. Yeah. All right. Let's just cut it and go here. Okay, we're going to get it this time. Facts. I finally got it. I caught the Gopher. You can just go to Macy's and they have the girl there who will spray it on something for you to get the scent. Yeah, that's true. She's staring at him in the store and left when he did. I remember in HS to Wilden Books and opening the JQ magazine and going to the clone page and flipping it on my shirt. Nice, nice. Yeah, Sorrow knows what he's talking about. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Sauce, but you need to listen to. Yeah, okay. I wrote that. Okay. Kim said the state did not want him talking about his story, his life. What was it? The state was keeping him from talking about there was something. His something his attorneys could have argued. You know, I don't. His attorney was from Timu, so they didn't do that. I'm curious what the reason was. Well, let's see what that's about. But as I said, I'm glad that he won't be out to hurt anybody else because I think that he probably would repeat it at this point. Again, definitely. Oh yeah, let's put this down here. Grounds. Yeah, grounds. Yeah, hilarious. Yeah, and yeah, that's what in subject matter jurisdiction. Okay, the state did not prevent Dimma Towers from telling his story. Rather, during his murder trial, the judge and prosecutor intervened when his testimony became emotional and non responsive or involved inadmissible legal claims. So that is the reason is given that he could have said his story, but his conduct in the court, they decided not to have him tell his story. Here's a breakdown on what happened during his testimony in the trial, where he was convicted of first degree murder of his adopted parents. Oh, that works for you. That's nice. Here's a okay. So emotional outburst. Dimma Tower broke down crying in the witness stand when his difficult upbringing as an orphan in Ukraine was described by his defense attorney. The judge ordered that the jury out of the courtroom and called for a break to allow Dimma to compose himself. Irrelevant testimony. Legal claims when pressed by prosecutor. Dimma blurted out that he was temporarily insane when he committed the stabbings. The judge instructed the jury to ignore the statement because, as insanity plea was not part of his legal defense in the trial. And evasive answers. During the police interviews shortly after his arrest, Dimma initially stated that his background story was too complicated to explain and gave choppy answers. During his trial testimony, he was reportedly stubborn, defiant, and not looking at the prosecutor, which some observed interpreted as being non-cooperative. Six says, "Nah, seriously, wouldn't it be able to have grounds for an appeal, the kind to keep him from wanting to get his story out there? What are they afraid of going down rabbit hole ineffective counsel? Maybe that girl that followed him that time thought he was Depp. Oh my oh no." Hilarious. All right, this is the answer six. Right. Yeah. Thank you, six. Thank you, six. And it's important for us to have the First Amendment. Absolutely. Dimmitt Tower's legal team could potentially use the argument that the judge's actions or counsel's performance denied him from trial as grounds for appeal. He really does have grounds. Scared. However, whether such an appeal would succeed is a separate matter, as courtroom rules provide specific reasons for a judge to control the testimony. Potential grounds for an appeal. Ineffective assistance of counsel. Some legal observers have suggested that Dimma's lawyers was ineffective for not using Dimma's background and mental state more effectively to argue for a lesser charge like manslaughter if it can be proven that the attorney's performance fell below the reasonable standard and that his deficiency affected the trial's outcome, it could be a valid point of appeal. Yes, that is true. Judicial error. The defense could argue that the judge made a legal errors by improperly limiting Dimma's testimony. Defendant has constitutional rights to testify, but that right is subject to rules of evidence, and an appellate court would review the trial record to see if the judge's rulings were proper under the law. Judges have authority to manage the courtroom proceedings to ensure fairness and efficiency. They can stop testimony for several established legal reasons, which they are not afraid of, but rather applying. So that's like the reasons the court intervened. Relevance. Evidence or testimony must be relevant to the legal issue of the case. Dimma's emotional outburst or attempts to introduce an insanity defense not legally filed as a plea were not considered relevant to the current charge of first degree murder as presented in the court. Melody Ferris was saying her son did it. The judge didn't like it, but he didn't infringe on her First Amendment rights. Ah, very well said. That's a good point. Prejudice, confusion. Judges can exclude Rule 403. Judge can exclude evidence or testimony if its probative value is substantially overweighed by danger of one or more of the following: unfair prejudice, confusion, the issue, misleading the jury, undue the delay was wasting time, or needlessly presenting cumulative evidence. Dimma Tower's emotional state and non-responsive answers were seen as potentially confusing or disruptive to the jury. Ferris Bueller. Yes. Yes, Ferris Bueller. Yeah. Scared. He's late to. If rumor has it, they're still trying to call his name because he's late for class. The judge was essentially maintaining order and ensuring that the jury focused on the facts and legal standard required for murder charge rather than being swayed by emotional or relevant background information that didn't directly excuse the crime. Oh, I'm glad to hear that your cat's okay, Eric. I'm glad to hear about that. A black cat finally came in. Ran after 6 hours. His big brother is biting him and licking him. Oh. Okay. It's good that he came home. Kim says maybe he has no impulse control. I think there's something going on with him mentally. Yeah. That's very true, and that's what I was saying about, there's some disorders that they lack the impulse control. That's true. I think that although he is guilty and he may have been never the best person, even under the certain circumstances that he was under, that there's certainly something not right there with him. Yeah, stepbrother cat. Facts. And sometimes the some people with antisocial personality disorder do have impulse control issues. Now, what he went through could have made him like that. It certainly wasn't good for his mental health. But yeah, I like to know what his story is exactly. Now, people may think that he might use it to cause a manipulation. That is a possibility. To try to sway it or lie about things. But yeah, he definitely does have grounds for an appeal. You see how Judge Doro allowed Brooks to do all that crazy stuff? So he would not have a successful appeal. This situation, this person might have a successful appeal. I mean, it may not be successful appeal, of course, but he might have a more things to say in his appeal than Brooks would. Yeah. Ah, darn it. I was so close. Oh, yes, Kim. Good to see you. Uh, Thank you. We are fishing Caribbean fish. Sometimes it's just meant to be, however it comes, it's meant to be. Yes. Whatever is meant to be yours will be yours no matter what. Whatever was not meant to be yours won't. So I just think that, yeah, there is fate and destiny that's involved with things. Here. Let's reel this in. Oh, yeah, I know about The Clash. I saw those movies. Okay. One movie from like the 80s, I believe it was the 80s, that was pretty cool was The Gremlins. I like the way they had their animation style back then before modern technology. Yeah, I know the Clash. Yeah, movies are quite epic. Oh, a flounder fish. Okay. This one on the screen right now is an abyssal one. Okay. This is a hatchet fish. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Oh, one thing I like is the Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That was very good. I like alien stuff, and that was nice. That was before they had the modern type of animations that we do today. Now, you're saying that The Clash. I am not familiar with that band. I may have heard some stuff, I'm not that familiar with it. Okay, and going up this way. Going down. One Christmas movie I like is Nightmare Before Christmas, which is like a Halloween Christmas movie at the same time. I like that. That was a cool claymation. So I think that the from as a content creator, I think the claymations and the old-fashioned way of animating things was very tedious and it was very interesting to see. Although I do appreciate the technology we have now. Okay. Eric said a flounderfish have both eyes and the side of their head. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, yeah, that's true. In SpongeBob, they had one of those fish in the series. Yeah, thank you. I like everything country music. Oh, I like rap, R&B, rock, grunge. Oh, nice, nice. I very good taste. Oh, Joyce, good evening. It's great to have you on board. All right, Joyce says, "Hey everyone, just want to pop in for a minute. The troop decided to come back early, so just got home. I need a glass of wine and sleep." Okay, well, good. Thank you for letting us know, and I'm sure you definitely need that for sure. And glad that you back safe. Okay. Scared. Okay, we're almost there. Ah. Okay, we're almost got it. Let's see. There we go. That's a blue Cormus. All right, Eric. See you later. All right, Mermaid said, ended up watching Sister Act 2 a.m. Still not done. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you for the update, Mermaid. Thanks for hanging out with us. All right. And that's funny. The six. All right. So, yo, I'm listening, but I'm not reading the chat. Just I'm getting some, so I'm not ignoring. Oh, okay, Kim. Yeah, just do whatever. You know, I'll be speaking as usual. Alright. Alright, we got that one. It didn't feel right. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of times with these bands, sometimes they would have breakups. And I and that would be quite historical for people of, you know, when a band breaks up it all changes, and I guess kind of like how friend groups can fall out. So and then they will, like, a lot of times they'll do their independent projects. Now usually with rappers it's just one rapper, but sometimes there's a group of rappers in a similar to like a band, but it's a little bit different. But yeah, usually rappers are solo. So I think seeing solo projects are, it could be another way of promoting the music and the person staying relevant, but people will naturally have a nostalgia for what it was in the beginning. You know, and that's normal. Normal. So, you know, everything from the 80s eventually led to what we have today, to the type of tech that we have today, and a type of music and stuff, because it was, a lot of it was started back then, but then they went to, it was more of its primitive stages. All right, let's see. I'm scared. All right, I will. I'll see about that in a moment. Let's see. I'm gonna reel this fish in, and we'll do that. Yeah, the chase you're speaking of. Yeah. All right. Let's go look at it. I have to go get it up. Let's see. From this way. All right. You graduate in 1980. Okay. Nice. All right. Let's do this. Put that down there. All right. Okay, here we go. Let's flip it over to this other window. Put it here. And let's go that way.
Freeway.
So
See
now,
how fast he goes.
I mean, we'll see how, because
And flipping it over here. And let's put it like that so people can see. And close out that chat, and there you go. All right, there is a live chase right now. So there they are, right there. Move myself out the way a little bit up here. How about right there for now? Okay, so this is a live chase that's going on. And we see them going, and I'll move this as it needs to be moved. Let's see. Maybe there. All right. Thank you, Eric, for letting us know. All right, so sometimes with these chases, they could get lost in traffic. They can be, things like that can occur. But yeah, we still have the police. They're trying to find the individual. Okay. See how it looks in this other window. Yeah. Scared. All right, so this is a live chase going on at the moment. It's a stolen vehicle. 20 or so. Oh, okay, nice. Now, sometimes these things wasn't supposed to be till morning. Almost everyone wanted to come home. Oh, that's interesting that they wanted them to go home. Because I remember you were saying that they wanted to do it for the whole weekend. Okay, and going over and going around the bend that way, yeah, because especially when there's lots of traffic, it could be tedious. But it looks like they're speeding up a little bit. Yeah, they're speeding up a lot to catch up with the person, the stolen vehicle. Okay. Now they're with the helicopter. They're kind of drifting away. Now they're drifting back in. That's good. Let's see. Okay, now they're just showing other parts of LA. Okay. So does that mean they're going to be going away, or are they going to try to find him? I'm scared. Well, it looks like they. Okay, I'll show you all the beginning part of this. Alright, so this is the beginning part of the chase, not live at the moment. Yes, they do have a police chase once a week, that is true. Yeah. So, this was the beginning part of it. And I'll have this, if we have any updates, this is not live at the moment, this was like from earlier. Okay, this was what they were showing. It looks like there's new updates about it, so we're gonna reload, and we're going to take this out. It's annoying. Okay, here we go. Right there. Is that it? Do they have more information on it? Let's see. Or they're just going out. It doesn't really look like much is going on with it. Yeah, so we're going to go back to what I was showing you. They're catching up. This was from a little bit earlier, by the way, and I don't know if they really caught him or not, because the camera drifted away. Yeah, that is, they're aiming on him, and he's just kind of drifting up from the police. Next hearing is scheduled for Tuesday, November 18, 25, 10 a.m. Plymouth Superior Court. This virtual hearing will address the pre-trial matters, including the defense motion. Okay. Thank you. Okay, then it's going quite fast there, and they're both after them. Yeah, so what's happening in the chase is that the two cars are behind the. This is a little bit from earlier. There's not really at the moment updates about it, but they were getting on his tail and he kept on drifting away. And right now they're not showing, and the person must have gotten away, but this was a little bit from before. And yeah, they turned that way, and he was still on their, it's on the tail right there. Yeah, Lindsay, Christine, the Suffolk County is in Boston. I know why Reddington wants in Suffolk. She was maternity nurse in Mass General Hospital, which is Suffolk County. Oh, Roxy, a good evening. Welcome to the stream. This is from a chase from a little bit earlier. This was from a couple of, like, 10, 15 minutes ago. They have not caught the person because the helicopters are not showing anything. But yeah, this was from recently, but it's not live. It's just that the way it concluded was the helicopters went away from the scene. That's what happened. But this was like from not, a couple moments ago. Yeah, so. Oh, you're probably 12 miles away from there. Oh, wow. Wow. Because I know chases happen in LA frequently. Yeah, scared. Yeah, and Roxy says, "What's up to 666?" Yeah. My county in Suffolk. My town, of course, is not Long Island and way. There is Suffolk County in Mass. Okay. Okay, thank you for explaining, Christine, about your town. Yeah, we will see the trials on Monday and the hearing and the trial. We'll certainly discuss it here what happens. Roxy said, I bought my pug Patrick from Mexican family Downey, LL. Yes. Oh, nice, Christine. Good to know. It's a cool area. Joyce said, wonder this person did take off with a pack of steaks from the stove. All right, so Joyce, it happens on a regular basis in LA, and they The reason for this is somebody stole a vehicle, probably, just in all seriousness, to just explain what the situation is. Now, I will say that your question does hold merit. Did the person did a pack of steaks from the stove? And Joyce, the reason why they stole the vehicle is because of the steaks that they did steal steaks. That is true, absolutely. And they stole a vehicle, and now this all happened. So that steak was just too mesmerizing for them. And drugs or guns in the car, I bet. Yeah, yeah, definitely. That is their most likely, in my opinion, too. Yes, it better be the best steak made by gourmet chefs. Absolutely. That's me after I took candy from a baby. Oh, scared. Scared. Yeah, and a broken taillight. Yeah, and a Timu tires. Yeah, a lot of times there'll be instances where the tires will completely break, will wear out, and it goes sparks go everywhere. It's quite wild sometimes. Yeah, missing tag. Yeah, that too. All right, and that was it. They just went away from it. At this point, it doesn't really seem like there is this anything else for that matter at the moment. But yeah, and then there'll be times they try to run in the chase, and they either run or they go hide in different backyards. They they do all kinds of things, and then that's one of the helicopters looking around. Oh, it's raining over there. Okay, I heard about the rain in the West Coast recently. It's super dangerous. Super dangerous. Yeah, but as I said, that is just the skyline, beautiful city, and yeah, those are just some chases. Oh, it looks like it's over with. Yeah, because they have some wild chases. Yeah, definitely. Scared. Yeah, it was on the freeway, and there was tons of accidents. Ah, okay. Okay. So definitely having a chase incident would be another thing that would cause a problem. Yeah. Okay. That is it for now with that chase. It was. It looks like they ended their feed. Well, it's raining in your area as well. Okay. Hey, back to fishing. Where I am, it's not raining, but it's very overcast. That's the my weather is like. Yeah, Chase is. There was sometimes the vehicles can like completely flip over. It looked like an action movie. And with the weather being so dangerous, it's quite surprising that they allowed it to get to that point where, like, the person doing a chase, but hey, they needed to have that steak desperately. Scared. You're now casting it in here. Okay, and now casting our line, and what we're going to do here is we could probably go back to the sea. Let's see. Does anybody have snow right now, out of curiosity, where y'all are? Because I know that the snowy weather is in some regions. You know, because sometimes rain could be sleet, or it could be cold, hot. You know, it could be a couple different. I mean, not cold or hot, but sometimes like rain could be icy, or sometimes it could be snowy. Because it seems from what I'm seeing, everybody's having rain instead of snow. Oh, okay, Joyce. Okay. Now, ASMR sound. Yeah. Yeah, I understand what happened for you, Sue. So, was weather... It wasn't weather a factor for them wanting to end it early, just curious. So if you just want to go home, it doesn't have to be a reason. But, because I remember, I was just wondering if weather had to do with anything, with the reason why. So that wasn't something you mentioned, but that was this is out in the open sea. This is like a small ship like the other pirates have.
Captain, they know we be pirates.
On our
Plundering will make them real mad.
little ship that I have is like how the modern pirates have. Okay, and where I am, the people are not used to this snow. And also, Christine says, Roxy says, yeah, because those things are where if sometimes if it's raining, it may not be the best. Stuff like that. Sometimes it's severe weather.
We sunk her, Captain.
Says Joyce says, she says hello to Joyce. Roxy, hope you're having a good evening. It's raining here too, but there's a guy. Oh. There's a guy on my roof.
Take what you can. Give nothing back.
Yeah, and over in Cali, y'all don't really get that. Yeah, and then she says hi to Ross. So something about... I remember the snow, there's people out of 5 in the... build something out of snow, like a thing to put stuff in, and it worked. And I was surprised because the snow for some reason did. Whatever the guy did, you have to insulate the so some kind of shelter from the cold. Now there is one time a person that you guys outside of the camping, and a blizzard came in, and he was moving around family stuff. It's like let him okay, but he didn't make it, and it was like a really bad snowstorm, and yeah, it could be very, very dangerous.
Keep at it. There'll be loot aboard those ships.
For them to do it, to take as much possible. Yeah, after Lakers was nice, right? We'll have some background. Yes. I like the background of something or watching a trial. I like different background sounds. Nice.
Turn him into fish food.
Then you have this seal. No, it's a blood seal. Yeah, on these zombie pirates. They are inside that ship, and they usually are on land, but they also are at sea. Kind of quite that's something I'll look into. Make a suggestion. Okay, now we're going to ship. Now we're gonna back up and yeah, see, that is knocking out the mass. And parlay.
Take what you can! Give nothing back!
Maybe lurking. So that's where you may be lurking, or maybe you might be something else. That's usually what it is. Oh, that's cool. That is cool. I'll explain some of these. But first, we're going to dock. We're going to dock to the shore. That way. Nearest one, which I think is that. Speeding ahead. Now we're going at full knots. So this one. And Sauce says Joyce, what I mean about the trip. Oh, going back this way. Okay, we're gonna take this loot. Alright. And then we added more to our stockpile. read y'all some information about stuff. Let's go here. Okay, Regina, good night to you. Thank you for hanging out with us. See you later. Take care. Let's see. That explained. Now, there is a game that in the early 2000s that came out that many people liked, and I played it too at my friend's house. It was Halo. So, the Halo game series is a widely acclaimed military science fiction franchise that primarily consists of first person shooter, FPS games, and the game center on interstellar war in the 26th century between humanity, specifically the United Nations Space Commander UNSC, and theocratic alliance of alien races known for Covenant and ancient parasitic threat called the Flood. Oh, Kim, I'm glad to know. Thank you for being with us as we talk about different stuff. All right, Joyce says, well, we got to the cabin. They had the meeting and get everyone set up where they were going to sleep, and they went to bed around 10. Meanwhile, with all the snoring and me freezing, I couldn't sleep. They got up around 6 a.m. and we fed them, and they went to the merit badge in college, did 2 classes, and we cooked dinner, and they ate, and we cleaned up and packed and left. Well, Joyce, I'm glad that you are back home now with the kiddo. It seems like it was a quite a chilly experience there with the weather. So, yeah, scared. Thank you for enlightening us about what occurred. All right, the core story. The main protagonist, the series of Master Chef Petty, Officer Chief Petty John 7117, is an augmented human Spartan soldier who super soldier and his AI companion Cortana. The conflict, the Covenant believing humanity to be in affront of their gods, the ancient forerunners wage a religious war of extermination. The beds suck, and now my back is killing me, but hey, had fun, so I am good with that. It sounds like it was a Timu bed and a certainly a series of quite unfortunate slumbering events, because the it was not good for sleeping. I imagine they probably have like a boulder from a mountain or a piece of grumpy wood they put there as a bed. It doesn't sound too appetizing. So yeah, they need to give y'all a bed upgrade. You know, the slumber upgrades are necessary for us all, even those that are doing camping. Scared. The Halos, true purpose. The conflict leads both sides to discover massive ring-shaped supercut. Oh, you'll be better next time. Okay. Yes. All right. The conflict leads both sides to discover massive ring-shaped super structures known as halos, the covenant between the activating these rings will lead them to on a great journey of spiritual transcendence. However, the Master Chief and Cortna learn that the rings are actually a last resort weapon designed by the ancient forerunners to wipe out the galaxy in the starving parasitic flood of the source. I just watched one a few days ago, and the guy drove crazy, and they lost him in the apartment complex. They don't know what apartment he went into. Oh, okay. Yeah, they could do that. There's incidences where they can be extremely cringe, where they'll just figure out and sneak away like a rat, and you don't know where they are. Joy said, I have had two back surgeries, so that is why I had a hard time. Oh, okay. Sir, understood. Well, next time, if you do go, they certainly need to get you, or however it's done, to give you the proper slumber. You know, the Sandman, I think, was uh, obviously did not come in time to put you to sleep the way it was supposed to. Now, so that just makes it even more less convenient. I'll have to write the Sandman a strongly worded letter for not uh, assisting you with the slumber, because usually that's the job of the Sandman, to help everybody sleep. And chief efforts and stop the Covenant. Okay, and this is the mission in Halo. The core narrative of the original trilogy revolves around Master Chief's efforts to stop the Covenant from activating the Halo rings and inadvertently dooming the galaxy. Okay. And then the gameplay. Yes, Joyce, yeah. The Golden Triangle combat. A balance of weapons, range, grenades, melee attacks, recharging shields. Players have regenerating energy shield, which was an innovative feature at the time of the first game's release and has become a series staple. Vehicle combat. A variety of ground and air vehicles that players can control, which integrate seamlessly into the large scale battles. Vehicle combat, a variety of ground and air vehicles that players can control, which integrate seamlessly into a large scale battles. Yeah, and the body is, sometimes the body wants to be rebellious and disagree with the obvious. The bodies will do that sometimes. You know, us young people are certainly need to unionize against their own bodies sometimes when they don't want to go with the program. Yeah. Now, I personally think that this, okay, I remember we were talking about before. There's like a type of TP that they do camping with besides their regular tent. I thought that was interesting. Or similar to like a TP. And as I said, it could be also. I think it's awkward. Besides the discomfort and the cold. Yeah, I guess I assume there wasn't a heater in there to keep people warm. I mean, it sounds like a prison. It's like a prison in the woods. That's what it sounds like. The being away from home would be kind of weird too. I've been at sleepovers at different camps, but of course it was like a city thing. It wasn't in the woods somewhere, and they were. It felt kind of awkward not being at home. Oh yeah, that's unfortunate, Sauce, but you're having a hard time. I wish you the best. All right, multiplayer, robust and highly popular multiplayer modes include competitive matches in cooperative survival modes like Firefight. And everybody in chat and y'all all deserve the best that possibly could be given to you. I think those it's offensive that y'all would ever have a bad day. And may good days be ahead for all of us. All right, let's see. Master Chief's backstory in this game. Let's see. Master Chief Petty Officer John Dash 117 was conscripted into the Spartan 2 Super Soldier program as a young child by the Office of Naval Intelligence, and Dr. Catherine Hazley's background, primarily detailed in the novel Halo: Fall of the Reach, is a story of forced transformation from a normal boy into humanity's greatest warrior. Oh, you're welcome, Joyce. You're welcome. No camping next month, so I'm good with that. Probably not till January or February. Oh, okay. Okay. In my state, January is the coldest month in my state usually. And yeah, so I can't guarantee that the weather's gonna be any better. Oh, you played now, Sauce. You said you played very hard your time. What sports did you play, Sauce? I'm curious if you played sports. Enlighten us about it. Birth and home. John was born in 2511 and lived with his parents in Elysium City on the human colony world of Erdanius II. Selection. At age 6, he was identified by Dr. Hazley as an ideal candidate for the Spartan 2 program due to his superior physical traits, taller and stronger than peers, and exceptional luck and reflexes. The coin toss. The Hazley test home by flipping a coin and asking him to guess the outcome. John caught the coin before it landed and correctly declared the outcome, impressing her with his speed and observation skills. When I was younger, okay, never thought it would catch up with me. Yeah, there are one of my friends, Joseph Gee, I know from another stream. He did football, and he said that it the injuries were quite, to this day it still hurts him. One of my friends in school that got injured, had some pains from it. A couple of people already at their younger age, and one of my friends got a concussion from it one time. So yeah, it's definitely with sports, it can catch up with you when. But as I said, I appreciate the players that play hard and were dedicated to their craft, and we all get to live once. So I'm glad that y'all did what y'all love to do with playing ball and stuff, or whatever people did. No one does until it does, and he says, "I hate it." Oh, yeah. I I certainly do think it's important to know that with the understood the body with its not being cooperative with our ages, all of our ages, because uh, we all are young, and I I think that on Timu sometimes I remember there's a scandal that Timu was giving people bodies or handing out when they're handing bodies around the people, and they were supposed to be from good quality, but there's a sometimes the Timu bodies they weren't supposed to be from Timu, but they had some influence over it, and I think that's really the culprit. It wasn't anything any of us have done. It was the way some manufacturing error because their association with Timu. But we don't have Timu bodies, but there is just a of nefariousness from their end to try to promote their products this the wrong way. Yeah. So we are. Oh, so that is, I think, we all are victims of the Timu plague. That must be what it is. But we are not, of course, Timus. But the Timu plague wants to make everybody have a bad day. Like, if it rains or if I trip over something, it was the Timu entities trying to uh, do mischief. That's what much of this runs down to mischief. And Sauce says, "I'm going to go smoke. Joyce, will you be here?" And that is the question of the hour. Will she be here? And kidnapping. Shortly after John 74, others selected. It would be a bit longer. Okay, that's good. And shortly after John 74, others selected children were covertly kidnapped by O and I agents to maintain secrecy, and they were replaced by flash coins. It's fun, right? That later died of natural causes, creating the illusion that children had simply passed away. New identity. John was taken and the planet reach the UNSCS military Nexus, where he was given a new life and name John 117. And Kim says, "Sauce, go smoke what?" Scared. Yeah, one thing that I was speaking of smoking, I remember there was reading something that back in the '80s or '90s it was more popular back then, and then as the time went on, people did it less, uh, and or the young people maybe smoked other things now, and there's also vaping too. So there's also these different factors that different generations did different things. Now, speaking of sports, I remember I I think the one thing I liked was Gatorade, and I don't know like what y'all back in the past may have drank during sports, but like it was like Gatorade was a big thing. I don't know when Gatorade came out, but it would be in a big um, an orange thing with ice in it. It was refreshing. And consistently being hydrated is another factor to have, because by keeping hydrated, it should help the body with what it's going through. And okay, the chat was saying okay. Oh, I read that already. I was just looking at that. Okay, yeah. One thing I thought was pretty cool when I was talking about yesterday I was talking about the different things that I have done before. One time I was playing basketball, and I seem to personally do good at the defense more than the other. I do good at shooting the hoop, but defense was something I did quite well at. Now, if anybody did play any sports, I'm just curious if they want to put it in the chat. I'd be interested to know what sports anybody played specifically. But I just one thing I like was soccer. That was interesting. In Europe, they do soccer more frequently. Also, Israel likes soccer too. And I guess those other countries in that region as well. I'm not quite familiar what they do, but I think they like soccer too. But they call it football over there. They call it something different. Something else is that different regions will call the different things. They'll call it the different sports stuff. A sport that I never played, I thought was the lacrosse with throwing like a net and they throwing the ball back and forth. That sounded like a hybrid sport. That sounded, I guess, would be fun, but also maybe kind of dangerous too. Yeah, and yeah, there's all kinds of different things you could learn from the different games that they play. So I will see if there's any more weather coming my way with the rain and stuff. I don't really know. But I know other regions, as I said earlier, have them. Now, in the leadership, John quickly emerged as the leader in that group in this game. In the argumentation procedures, at age 14, John and others... Kim says, in NC, I had snow flurries this past week, and now it's supposed to get up to 70s this week. I'll be heading back to Florida on Friday, I believe. Oh boy, I can't wait. Yeah, it's warmer.
I think NC is North Carolina.
Huh?
You said NC?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's abbreviation for North Carolina. Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, so down here it is. Although Florida's a little bit more south than I am. Well, a part of Florida is adjacent to me, but the rest of it's more south. Yeah, it's certainly more warmer down there, and also here too, because like where I am, it'll be cold for about a week or so. Then it goes back to being warm, and then it goes back and forth. It has to be constantly fueled by a bunch of cold fronts. You'll certainly like it when you get back down to Florida. Yeah. Now, speaking of the flurries, that's way too loud. Okay. Let's see. Something is going on. Alright, can I be heard now? Oh, wait. Something is... back. Alright. Alright, maybe I had something on in the background that I may have meant to turn off. Okay, thank you. Hopefully I'm now more easy to hear. Okay. So, you can hear me? Okay, thanks, Joyce. Okay. So, NC had the... Yeah, so down in the south part, it has to be constantly fueled, because the cold fronts come from Canada, and then they come down and trickle down this way. And they'll blow in and make it, and it'll be loud, and it'll be windy, and the sky's very clear for some reason when it's windy like that. So well, right now it's just kind of coolish, but not really cold at the moment. But the cold fronts will come back in eventually. All right, and now on Monday there's this hearing and a trial that will be looking at the over in the East Coast, Now, since it's the East Coast, it might end earlier than usual that we're used to. There's a lot of these trials that we had that go longer in the night were from the West Coast. So the East Coast things ended more early. And we could see about guilty or innocent ideas with that. Alright, and thank you, Joyce, for the feedback. Right. First mission. John's first mission as Spartan was against human insurrectionist and Hernandez system. He was shot during the operation, but not seriously injured, earning a Purple Heart and the first contact casualty. During an early engagement, John's closest friends, Samuel 034, died in the Covenant ship to profound event that cemented John's resolve to defeat the Covenant no matter the cost. Master Chief rank. John was eventually promoted to the rank of Master Chief Patty Officer, a rare 3 rank jump that became widely known by the title. Pantering with the Cortana. Before the Battle of Reach, he was parted with the Al Cortana, an intellectual clone of Dr. Hazley, a brain forming due to Central Halo games. That's some information about the game that I play. I've played it a long time ago, but that's one of the games that I played before. Yeah, that it's a kind of like a space sci-fi game that's played on different devices. Mostly I think the Xbox. And let's see some facts about the courtrooms. Now, this is just, since we talk about trials, this is some interesting stuff about how the courtrooms work, which we already know this, but this is just a summarize of how it works. A courtroom is a chamber. Another thing about the chamber is interesting because during the YSL trial, they would talk about as a chamber. And with the Chamber of Secrets, like from Harry Potter, so it's cool that they use the word chamber still. So the courtroom is a chamber where legal proceedings are held before a judge or jury, while the specific layout and staff can vary by jurisdiction, subject matter jurisdiction, Your Honor, as Brooks would say. In court level, some key facts and general rules apply across many legal systems, particularly in the United States. The judge sits and head of the courtroom on a raised platform called the bench. To preside over the trial, the judge rules on issues of law, determines the admissibility of evidence, and trials without a jury decides the case. Unlike other countries that don't have this, we have a very complex system. Right, and the jury is a group of citizens seated in the jury box who listen to the evidence presented in a trial. They consider the facts to reach the verdict, and then you have the plaintiff, prosecutor. So a plaintiff and a prosecutor, in a way, are very similar. That's something that is interesting, parallel to draw between the two groups. The party who initiates the lawsuit or brings the criminal charges, their attorney presents the case, provide the defendant with liable or guilt. The defendant, of course, as we know, is the party who, being sued or accused of a crime, their attorney attempts to prove innocence of their client. And the court reporter, that we see the court reporter, the person typing out, like zigzags, typing out everything, that is the court reporter, and sits near the witness stand and creates a verbatim record of everything said during the trial using a stenographic machine. I know a friend that does typing from some other channel, and yeah, that really takes a lot concentration and focus to go and sit there the whole trial and just type everything it said. The defendant, the party who is being the witness sits in the witness stand to provide testimony under the oath about what they have seen, heard, or know about the case. They're all witnesses. Even if they weren't physically there, they did something, had something to do with it. So a witness is quite interesting. Where it's a broad term of an umbrella term. The court clerk deputy sits near the judge to administer oaths, manage evidence, and assist in the trial's administrative flow. Because there's people that we don't even see in the background when we watch trials that are quite interesting. Interesting, not the word. That are quite essential, rather, to the court's proceeding. All right, the court reporter sits near the witness stand, and we read that already. The court reporter, and the county clerk deputy sits near the judge to administer. Okay, that's not what I meant to read. I meant to read the bailiff. The bailiff court officer responsible for the security of the courtroom and managing order. Yeah, the bailiff is basically like a security guard of the courtroom. So there's all these people working in unity with the judge. It's like an organism. And this is explaining the structure designs of the courtrooms that we see. Is the raised bench. The judge's bench is elevated to give the judge a clear view of the courtroom and symbolizes the authority of the court. Right? Because the judge is representing the law of the United States is above, right? Public access. Most court hearings and trials are open to the public with seatings available in the back of the courts. Citizens can observe the judicial process in action. So, oh, you're still there barely, though. Okay. Thank you, Joyce. And now, the interesting thing about the technology is the modern courtrooms often feature sophisticated technology, including monitors for the judge, as well as the hearing impaired. Imagine how tedious it had to be for them back in the old days where they didn't have the type of technology like Perry Mason time period. That was... yeah, scared, Joyce. And in the Perry Mason time period, they had to... That's partially why they had this court reporter doing all the typing, because they didn't have the technology. So now, what we can all agree that the courtrooms have some not the best technology even to this day. Like, their sound equipment isn't really that good. Alright, and then we have Sauce is back. It's good, buddy. Welcome back. So yeah, the courtroom sounds need to be improved. Okay, the courtroom needs better sound effects. So technology is a little bit of an understatement right there. And of course, we have the sidebar discussions to maintain the privacy of certain conversations, judges, and toggle a switch to generate white noise, preventing the jury and spectators from hearing discussions with attorneys at the bench. Differing court types. The appearance of the courtroom differs from depending on the level of the court. Appellate courtrooms offer examples do not use the jury box or witness stand, as their purpose is not review legal decisions and not determine facts. Joyce said they have awful sound. Of course, they are not used to live streaming. Yeah, they need to upgrade the technology to be used to live streaming. And they need to. At some point, I believe they'll get it right. But yeah, it could be real cringe. Like they need to hook up something from the screen to a computer, and like how you all hear stuff. Like I play to you all the Brooks trial or Depp or whatever. They need to hook that up when they're playing something. But of course, I mean, that's something that I would know about. But the courtrooms, as I said, they do need to upgrade it, definitely. The live streaming on YouTube is a new concept to them, and I'm not hating on them for that. You know, every learning curves. You know, like I don't know how to do brain surgery that well. It's you know, I just put the little sarcasm in there where I'm like, I don't know how to do it that well, but I know how to do it. I'm so full of myself, scared. But yeah, anyway, with like brain surgery or something, like yeah, I wouldn't know about doing that, but I know about some stuff with computers. So eventually over time it'll adapt to it. Now if it doesn't adapt to it, I'm gonna go to every courtroom in this country and fix it for him. Y'all will see Alien Spaceship in there with my hoodie on, working on something and getting it right for him. So yeah, I'll fix it for him. I'm serious. When I was little, I used to help the like neighbors and stuff create stuff with their videos and things in their computers when they needed help with it. So yeah, I'll help the courtroom too. I mean, I guess like, you know, I've always did stuff like that because I was just interested in technology and people want me to, you know, see what was going on. I'm like, yeah, I'll assist with that. So yeah, definitely somebody needs to go and fix that issue. Court procedures. Docket. The schedule of official court proceedings is called a docket. Evidence, both written and physical evidence, can be submitted through witness testimony. It's very common for evidence. Objections. Attorneys can object to lines of questioning that violate the rules and evidence. A judge will either sustain or overrule the objection. Dual system. The United States operates a dual court system which separates federal and state courts. Causes are right on DSOS facts. Causes are filled with based on type of law involved, federal or state, but may end up in the Supreme Court. Yeah, Eric. Definitely. I'll see you. You can ask your questions. Sure. Dual system. The United States operates a dual court system with separate federal state courts. About to lay down. I am having a lot of pain. I'm very tired. Well, Joyce, I thank you for coming here for us, in spite of the pain you're in. And good night to you. And thank you for chatting with us for tonight. All right. It was an unexpected surprise, a wonderful surprise to have you with us. All right, and all right, the movie's over, Mermaid. Oh, okay, I'm glad the movie's over. Dual system. The United States operates a dual court system with separate federal and state courts. Causes the field based on type of law. Case field based on type of law involved may be ends of the U.S. Supreme Court. Right access. I'm in the holiday spirit. Candied apples, food, movies, and trying to feel better. Oh, Mermaid, I love Christmas. It's a jolly season. All right. So, for instance, there was this saint in Eastern Europe that was vaguely based on the way we see Santa Claus now. Now, Mermaid, I don't know if I remember from earlier if you said it. What is your favorite Christmas movie, Mermaid? I'm just curious. Hello, Moki. Great to see you. Welcome to chat. Hope you're doing okay. All right. And speaking of Christmas, this is about a saint that's very similar to the Santa Claus type story, because this person was in Eastern Europe, was in Czech Republic. It's right next to Germany, and he had a sleigh and he gave kids presents like Santa Claus, but he was although Saint Nicholas is a Turkish individual that was Saint Nicholas is based off of. The other part that's kind of like the wintry stuff is also, I think, based off this, in my opinion. All right, and the continuation is Wenceslas was the 10th century Duke of Bohemia, Christian martyr, and is patron saint of the Czech Republic. He is known as the English-speaking countries as a subject to popular Christmas carol Golden Good Wing Wenceslas. Yeah, and Moki, tonight we were talking about some different things that were going on with the weather, different stuff with pets. It was quite an intriguing night. And yesterday I did this analysis of one of the trials or hearings that we'll be seeing on Monday. And yeah, so we've been having a pretty cool time in here, chilling and chatting about stuff. All right, so the Duke of Bohemia, he was known as the Christian kindness to the poor and efforts to promote in his realm. It was largely so he was promoting the Christianity in his realm that was largely pagan, and he encouraged the German missionaries and he built churches, including the Rotunda dedicated to Saint Vitus. And let's see if his similarities to Santa Claus. Let's see. Both Saint V and Santa are associated with the generosity and gift giving during the winter holiday season, reflecting the Christian identity of charity. The primary similarities in their shared reputation for acts of charity are concerned for the poor. Grieving the poor saint, this saint was known for personally providing food, wine, and firewood to those in prison. A core aspect of his legend and the Christmas carol Santa Claus, his historical inspiration for St. Nicholas, is fundamentally about the miraculous giving of gifts, especially to children and those in need. In the winter Christmas context, the good king, Carol takes and also we have our lurkers. A shout out to the lurkers. And it's a right on sauce. And it takes place during the harsh winter around Christmas, specifically the feast of Stephen on September 26th. And then the Santa Claus is on Christmas Eve and Day traditions. So this actual person, he was a king from Eastern Europe. He would have a sleigh, and he would, with his little thing, and he would give people gifts and stuff. So I believe a lot of that was taken from this. In a symbolic of giving spirit, both figures serve a symbol of the giving spirit of Christmas, and they both were part of the Christian tradition. Yeah, so I love, by the way, you're talking about mermaid Christmas trees. I love the smell of Christmas trees. It's always very much of an enchantment to add. And as we know, the cat loves the Christmas lights, so that's why all year we have some Christmas trees up all year. but that is certainly the what we have of it's a nice and festive to do it. So a lot of the movies and stuff are out that are good reflect to those that reflect on the Christmas traditions. Right now, let's see. Yeah, do that. I think. Let's see. Okay, and then it's a little bit early, but let's see. Do other places have what's the origin of ornaments? Let's see. Ornaments. Let's see. Scared. Oh, hello there, Bubbles. Glad to hear about the traditions. Okay, the Christmas ornaments and their tradition can be traced to the 16th century Germany, where evergreen paradise trees used in medieval plays were adorned with apples and nuts. First manufactured glass baubles were created by a German glassblower, Hans Greiner, so it's named after me. The town of Lauscha, possibly because he couldn't afford the real fruit. The tradition spread throughout Europe and popularized in America by figures like F.W. Woolworth, who imported German glass ornamentation in the late 19th century. Let's see. Do other countries have Thanksgiving? Hey, several other countries have their own version of Thanksgiving, similar harvest festivals. Though the dates, origins, and traditions vary, while American version is perhaps the most well known. Others have unique traditions based on their own history and culture. Right, Sauce said on then, well, Alien, glad you had this platform this evening. Okay, Sauce, I'm glad that you enjoy the platform, Sauce, and you're a very great asset to this channel. Thank you for being here tonight. All right. Several. Okay, so this is what some of the other countries celebrate. Okay, Canada, when the second Monday of October. Origin, the earliest record of Thanksgiving in Canada was 1578, celebrating the English explorer Martin Frobisher's safe arrival in what is now Nunavut. I probably pronounced that wrong. Later, the celebrations were influenced by both French settlers and American loyalists. Tradition, celebrated with family gathering and large meal, often turkey, similar to the American version. Oh, interesting. Germany. The Harvest Thanksgiving Festival, Ernten Dockenfest, is typically celebrated on the first Sunday in October. Origin, rooted in Christian traditions, it is a day to give thanks for the harvest. Some traditions date back to pre-Christian pagan beliefs. Right, traditions of the festival often has religious focus with parades and decorations made for autumn crops. A traditional meal may include chicken or goose instead of, which is a funny way of saying goose, instead of turkey. Interesting. Oh, in Japan, Labor Thanksgiving Day is celebrated November 23. I didn't know that they had that. Origin: the modern holiday originated World to honor the labor in production, but it evolved from an ancient rice harvest festival. Tradition: celebrations often include labor-related events and community activities. School children may create and give cards to local public servants. All right, so we have Grenada, Liberia, all the many different. Pretty much all the countries have their own version of a Thanksgiving celebration. Interesting. That is cool. That's cool. Okay, good night to you, Sauce. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Take care. Oh, interesting. Johnny Depp is set to star as a lead in a new, darker film adaptation of Charles Dickens' classic novel Ebenezer, a Christmas Carol. Okay, he's gonna be Ebenezer Scrooge, and Paramount Pictures is the studio. And the release date: the film is tentatively scheduled for release in November 13, 26. So next year in November, he will be releasing a new movie. Co-star Andrea Riseborough and Ian McKellen and Tamil Timlin reportedly set to co-star. Described as thrilling ghost story with the gothic horror tone, the movie will be set in the Dickens London and explore the supernatural journey of the miserly businessman as he confronts his past, present, and future. The casting of horror director Ty West and the film's darker description suggests a version that delves deeper into the novella's eerie elements that previous adaptations. This project marks Johnny Depp's return to major Hollywood studio film, his first Fantastic Beasts since 2018.
Just a minute, almost.
So we now have a confirmed movie that Depp is going to be in. Wow.
Okay.
Okay, so the Day Drinker is expected to be released in 26, and Janae Barry, that was already in 24. That was a movie he did in 24, and a couple of them had been released. And the 3-Day Wing, theaters on November 7, 25, is available on streaming platforms. Johnny Puff is an animated voices characters, was released digital platforms in July 24. All right, let's see what the plot in the Day Drinker movie is. Let's see. Film action thriller shows the private yacht bartender encounters Depp's mysterious character on board. Their meeting unexpectedly draws both of them into this underground world where they become entangled in many trials that happen to them. They go through a lot of struggles in the underground world. And yeah, that looks like it's going to be a cool movie. It's going to come out next year. So, I'm glad that he's still doing movies. And this certainly is. These are good movies. Yeah, they're coming out from him. You know, we were concerned during the Depp trial that he wouldn't want to do movies anymore, but we're glad that he found his new energy to do it. All right. I'm going to go do something with this over here, but I'm going to play something for y'all. Let's see. I'll be right back. Let's see. All right. All right. Let's see. This window. This is one of the Brooks cartoons. I found a whole bunch of Brooks cartoons. And this is one of the... a new one that I haven't played yet. Alright.
From the state first?
No, but we would like some further direction from the defendant as to who he wants here tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon, if he wants us just to continue that list that he originally provided, or if there's an update. And we can do that off the record, Your Honor. I don't know that we need you involved.
Okay. Thank you. Then hopefully the parties can figure that out without me needing to be involved further. But anything from you, sir?
No, I'm just gonna say with that, I'm not gonna put them in specific order.
Not looking for the order, but we're behind given the timetable and the understanding between, as I understand it, between you and the state. So,
The state has the list.
well, based on the groupings that you gave to the state, it sounds like we got through only one from each
Right.
kind of category. So we'll go back to the first would have been Thursday morning. You need to call the rest of Thursday morning. Was there two left of that?
Yes, correct.
So
And so let's do Thursday morning and Thursday afternoon. The people you designated, I'm going to direct the state to have here tomorrow morning. That's 4 witnesses, whatever order of those 4. And then how many does that leave? Because
that's what I'm trying to
doing
figure out.
good with math this
4.
late in the day. 4, so 4 in the afternoon then. So our hope is to get through all your witnesses
I can say this
tomorrow.
for the record. One witness I intend to call tomorrow is not going to be 35 minutes.
Fair enough. Do you plan to call that person in the morning or the afternoon?
I'm leaning towards the afternoon. If the morning goes pretty.
Can you tell me which list they were on when you gave it to the state? Was it Thursday afternoon, Friday morning, or Friday afternoon?
I didn't put them on days, but I believe they were in maybe the second floor names. If
Do you just want
that
to tell me who
helps.
it is so we can prepare so that person is told to come in the afternoon rather than wait through the morning?
I don't want to say who it is.
Well, I want the person to be here when we're ready to go, but
They were here today, if that helps.
Yeah, I know who it is. It's Erica Patterson, Your Honor. There's no
Maybe.
mystery here.
Maybe
all right,
it is,
that's
maybe
what I
it isn't.
would have. That's kind of who I thought it would be as well.
So,
I'm going to have her come tomorrow afternoon. Then I'm
okay,
not
we
gonna
will
have
have
her
you
come in
here
the
at 1
morning.
o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
So
Your Honor.
we need
Thank
to be
you.
mindful of people's schedules.
Thank you. We'll have everyone else here at
That's
8:30.
interesting because what if that was not who I was referring to?
Then you need to tell me right now so I can make an alteration to that.
Come on, Judge.
Sir, we're at the end of the 3rd week of trial.
So
I
can we
need
at
to
least
keep
be
this
fair?
moving
Can we at least
along.
be fair and say that's not due to me though?
That would not be fair to say.
How?
It's
How? The state said that they needed 5 to 7 business days to present their case. Did they or did they not say that on the record?
and there's
So
it
how did
doesn't
I-
matter how we got there at this point. I'm trying
Then they
my
need to chop,
darndest
chop.
to get all the
Should've been
witnesses
chop, chop.
done. So I'm directing the state to have Miss Patterson come tomorrow afternoon.
If that's
And the
what I
other
was referring to,
witnesses?
which I wasn't, but everybody think they know what I'm thinking.
Then you need to tell them if it's someone else, and if you want her here in the morning.
I'll
then
say this. Everybody that was here today that didn't get called, have them here tomorrow. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people.
And you need to tell me who you want in the morning, not by the order, and who you want for the afternoon. Otherwise, I'm going to make the order that I just made.
No, how you gonna make the order for me?
Under 906.11, sir.
No, you can't. I can call. I have the right to call them in the order that the state didn't have to have an order. And I'm guessing.
No, but the
correct me
state's
if I'm wrong,
helping you out in terms of the order,
They were helping me out with serving
and
the
they're helping you.
subpoenas. Not the order of how I would call the witnesses, but the subpoenas. And I gave the state.
Do you want to be responsible for calling each person tonight and telling them what time they need to be here, or should we let the state do
Here we go
that?
with this again. There's something that's impossible to do.
That's not true. You have
How's it
access
not
to
true?
a phone.
So somebody's gonna answer a collect call from someone they don't even know. Nobody in this courtroom will answer a collect call and pay for a phone call from
Not
somebody
my
that you
understanding
not know.
of how it works at the jail. That you can.
Yes.
There's other means to make phone calls.
There is no other way to utilize the phone.
Well, maybe I'm wrong on that, but be that as it may, the state is helping you out. This is to make tomorrow go as smoothly as possible, to be effective, and to use all of our time wisely.
Your Honor, with all respect, I did what was asked of me to do. I provided them with the list of the witnesses that I would call. And I stated before that I would not put them in order, and the state accepted the list that I gave them. So why, at this point, is
Who are the witnesses who are here
being
today?
a problem?
Kohler, Douglas Kohler, Detective Guth, Erica Patterson, Christopher Bertram, and Jason Hayes were here today, in addition to Miss Reimer. Miss Reimer's now done. Nicholas Kirby was also here today. He's done. If we are going to continue to assist Mr. Brooks in getting these witnesses here, we need to have a reasonable time schedule. These witnesses don't just show up by the tooth fairy. We have to communicate with them. They have jobs, they have families. I've explained this 3 times to Mr. Brooks. If he wants our assistance,
Objection. She can chill with all that. She can chill with all that
to-
tone.
hold on. I know.
Get on that if that's what it
Hey,
is.
I know it's been a
Definitely
long
get on
day.
that.
Let's keep this civil.
That's what I'm trying to do, but
So
she gonna have to tone it down.
I think both of the parties are getting a little
For real.
frustrated. I'm getting frustrated. So,
don't
Kohler,
even know who they be
Guth,
like.
Hayes, Patterson. I missed a 5th.
Bertram.
Guth is a police officer, right?
Yes.
I know who Eric Patterson is. How about Kohler, Hayes, and Bertram? Are those citizens?
They're citizens that relate to the parade, I believe, and post-parade, not the DV.
It seems to me that even with one of the witnesses taking more than 35 minutes, that doesn't fill up the whole day. So we need to have some other people on that list for the afternoon.
So I will just continue to work in the order of the list that was provided, Your Honor. I think that's the only reasonable thing we can do at this point, or we can do it alphabetical, or we can do it by random lot, because I don't know really what else to do.
By the list that was given.
What was the order of the list that you were given?
The first 3 were Kirby, Kohler, and Guth. The next line has 3 names: Patterson, Bertram, Hayes. The third line has 3 names: Reimer, Aldrich, and Lescano. The last list has 2 names and then also reads the state of Wisconsin.
First 3 people on the list you need to advise to be here tomorrow at 8:30.
Okay.
The next 2 people tomorrow at 10:30. The next 2 people after that tomorrow at 1:30. And the next 2 people from there at 3:30. And then do I have anyone left over from there?
No.
If I have to go late tomorrow, then I would say the last person can be at 4:30 if need be.
Yeah, I agree. We would very much like to get through the defense witnesses tomorrow, Your Honor.
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Well, that's the order that I'm making in terms of the times people need to show up. That gives you a range of people to select from.
I'm gonna have to see that what you're referring to then, because
Oh, I trust you wrote it down because that's what I did.
I
so
didn't. I
we
didn't
are at
write it down.
recess then for the evening. We'll see everyone tomorrow at 8:30
all right.
a.m.
So if they don't get called like that, don't try to blame it on me.
Mr. Brooks, the live stream is on.
I don't care about no live stream. Just like y'all don't care. All this political, this the show. Y'all getting told what to do.
Mr.
Y'all
Brooks.
getting paid what to do.
Mr. Brooks, look at me for a minute. Mr. Brooks. Mr.
You
Brooks,
sit
look
up
at
here and act like you know me. People like you don't, y'all
Mr.
you don't
Brooks.
know nothing about where I come from.
Mr. Brooks.
You push me, dog.
Don't push back then.
Mr. Brooks.
Don't push back.
Push me again.
You wanna-
Mr. Brooks, we have to continue with this hearing.
Want to talk to the judge or not?
No, I'm worried about, man, don't put your hand on me, dude.
Nobody put their hands on you.
They better not put their hand on me.
Okay, Mr. Brooks, you need to look at me for a minute, okay?
Why? To listen to all this political stuff y'all got going on?
Mr. Brooks, I'm more concerned about...
Don't touch me, dog.
Stay seated.
All right, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back after lunch. I'm not going to do this with him right now. He needs to be here. He's not cooperating. I'm going to give you the warning, Mr. I will give you the warning that if you continue to interrupt when we go back on the record, you will forfeit your right to be in the courtroom today. I can't have these interruptions. I want you here. It's been a long day and a half.
Keep your hands off me.
We'll come back at 12:30.
I just told you to get up off me.
12:30, everyone.
All right, thank you. Be seated. Cross-examination.
Good afternoon, Ms. Heard.
Good afternoon.
You settled your divorce from Mr. Depp in August of 2016, right?
That sounds right.
And in connection with that settlement, you received $7 million from Mr. Depp, true?
That's correct.
And then you released a statement in which you claimed you would be donating the entire $7 million to charity, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So in this October 2018 interview, you said that you had, quote, donated, end quote, your entire divorce settlement to charity, right?
That's correct.
And in fact, your exact words were, quote, $7 million in total was donated to, I split it between the ACLU and the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, end quote, right?
That's correct. I made that statement as soon as I got a divorce and we reached the settlement. That's when I pledged it, right then.
And you say this because you, quote, wanted nothing, end quote.
That is correct.
But you hadn't donated the $7 million divorce settlement to charity. Isn't that right?
Incorrect. I pledged the entirety of the
Ms. Heard,
settlement, $7 million
that's not my
to
question.
charity, and I intend to
Ms.
fulfill
Heard,
those obligations.
Ms. Heard, that's not my question. Please,
What was
try
your
to answer
question?
my question. Sitting here today, you have not donated the $7 million donated, not pledged, donated the $7 million divorce settlement to charity.
I use pledge and donation synonymous with one another. They're
But I
the same
don't.
thing.
Ms. Heard, I don't use it synonymously.
That's how donations are paid.
Ms. Heard, respectfully, that's not my question. As of today, you have not paid $3.5 million of your own money to the ACLU. Yes or no?
I have not yet.
And as of today, you have not paid $3.5 million of your own money to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, correct?
I have not yet. Johnny sued me.
So as of today, you have not donated, paid $7 million of your divorce settlement to charity, right?
I have not been able to fulfill those obligations yet.
And that's because you did want something, didn't you?
I didn't want anything and I didn't get anything.
You wanted Mr. Depp's money.
Didn't get it, wasn't interested in it. I loved Johnny, that's why I was with him.
You wanted praise for donating the money, right?
That's incorrect.
You wanted good press.
In general, one does want good press, yes.
You wanted to seem altruistic publicly.
Wasn't my interest. My interest is in my name and clearing my name, and at the time I was being called a liar and my motives were being questioned. I did see it as important to clear that up. I wanted to make a statement to make sure that there was not any doubt that I couldn't be labeled these things just because Johnny was a bigger star and had more publicity reach.
You wanted to remind everyone of your claims of domestic violence against Mr. Depp, right?
No, I wanted to move on with my life.
You wanted to make those claims seem believable.
They are believable. They were
You wanted
believable.
them to be seen, you wanted to be seen, excuse me, as a noble victim of domestic violence,
I
didn't
have
you?
never wanted to be seen as a victim. Nor have I
You-
ever called myself one.
You testified under oath that, quote, the entirety of your divorce settlement was donated to charity, end quote, didn't you?
That's correct. I pledged the entirety.
No. Ms. Heard, my questions. Your counsel will have time to redirect you after. You testified under oath, quote, the entirety of your divorce settlement was donated to charity, end quote.
That is correct. I pledged the entirety.
I'm going to move to strike everything after yes.
All right, next question.
Under oath, that statement wasn't true, was it, Ms. Heard?
I'm sorry, I don't follow your question. Sorry.
You testified under oath, quote, the entirety of my divorce settlement was donated to charity, end quote. That statement wasn't true.
It is true. I pledged the entirety to charity.
The statement...
When you say you buy a house, you don't pay
Ms.
for the
Heard,
entire
Ms.
house
Heard,
at one time.
respectfully,
You pay it
I'm
over
not asking,
time.
Ms. Heard.
All right, next question, please.
Thank you. That statement isn't true today, as you sit here today, is it?
It is true. I pledged the entirety.
But you
to
didn't
charity.
donate it.
Unfortunately,
You didn't donate it. It's a yes or no.
I haven't been able to to fulfill those
So that's a no,
obligations.
right, Ms. Heard?
I made the pledge. I want to be very clear. I pledged the entirety. I haven't been able to fulfill those pledges because I've been sued.
You had all of the $7 million for 13 months before Mr. Depp sued you, and you chose not to pay it to the charities you pledged it to. Is that correct, Ms.
I
Heard?
disagree with your characterization of that.
I think this, if Your Honor is
Okay,
fine,
you said
this is a good
it's a
stopping
breaking point. Okay, that's fine. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll stop here for the evening. Remember tonight, do not do any outside research and do not discuss the case with anybody. I know these days are a little longer, and I appreciate your patience and you know, taking care of everything here. Please take care of yourself tonight, okay? And we'll see you in the morning at 9 a.m.
Oh, okay. Now, you said that on the 22nd that you kissed her on the cheek.
What day?
The 22nd, your birthday?
22nd, Sunday, yes.
Okay. So when you showed it the first time, you went like this, right? And then the next time when you said you did the kisses, you went like this. What's your typical way of kissing women when you greet them or say goodbye?
I'm not understanding any of what you just did.
Okay. So I take it that you would regularly kiss Amber on the cheek when you to say hello and to say
Oh,
goodbye?
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And tell us how you did that.
Objection,
Could you
Your Honor.
show? Did you have a different way of kissing her on the cheek different times? Or did you have a general way that you would greet or say goodbye to Amber with kisses?
It's a regular, you know, you give a peck on the cheek, or, you know, like you just touch cheeks and
Okay.
that's that.
So it's a pretty soft, it's kind of like almost a superficial one, or is it a really hard one on the cheek?
No, it's you know, just yeah, you kiss someone on the side of the cheek. I don't know, pressure-wise, what kind of talk is there?
I mean, is it just
talk?
one of these little pecks, or is it much harder?
No, it's a regular. You touch, you know, you touch and boink, and that's that.
So you think it was pretty hard? You peck her on the cheek pretty hard every time?
Objection, Your Honor.
No, I'll sustain the objection if you want the next question.
Okay. You also showed that you did one like this. Did you ever do a two kiss when you greeted Amber? Two cheeks?
No, I'm not European. I'm from Brooklyn.
No.
You give, you know, Europeans do the, you know,
All right.
both sides. Sometimes you even three. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, you know.
But you never did that.
No.
Judge, I would like to call Sarah Boone, read from, and then you want to speak to the court after that?
Yes.
Why don't you go ahead and get started?
This is actually an edited version.
I had a lot to say. I've had a lot of time to think about things, and I didn't really know how to put it on paper, and I didn't know how much I could say or how little I should say. So what I have here is, like I said, an edited version, but I would like to read the more important parts that I feel that everyone should know that wasn't said in my actual trial. And on top of what I have on paper, I have, this is just the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg. So I wanted to read this, and then, if I may, I would like to address everyone in my apology on top of my statement.
You may proceed, ma'am.
Kintu Sukuroi is a kind of Japanese ceramic style which means to repair with gold. In this tradition, when a ceramic piece breaks, an artisan will fuse the pieces back together again using liquid gold or gold dust lacquer. So rather than being covered up, the breaks become more obvious and a brilliant new piece of art emerges from the brokenness. It embraces flaws, weakness, and imperfections, and also teaches the essence of resilience. Every crack in a ceramic piece is a part of its history, and each piece becomes more beautiful because it has been broken. This is the wisdom of Kintu Sukuroi. In my wisdom and with all of my repairs, then, now, and ongoing, God is, has been, and will always be my artisan. All of my gold is forgiveness. This has held me together, made me shine brighter, and overcome the damage caused by George Torres, the Torres family, the justice system, Orange County Corrections Department, social media, scoundrel detectives, infamy, defamation, ongoing constitutional rights violations, second-degree murder, forced into being pro se. Just as gold is very precious, forgiveness is invaluable. Forgiveness is not an attempt to change or forget who, what, or how you've lived through to be so gold, but an act of grace, humility, and considerable self-compassion to be set free from sorrow. Withholding forgiveness denies your brilliance and adds even greater grief and deeper heartache.
Okay, everybody, that'll be it for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in, and